ready. They say they need to ban the podcast equipment and take y'all mics away. And oftentimes when I listen, I agree.
For real talk.
Hey man, just because we know people don't mean that they know things. A lot of us was in the same classes with some of these folks. That don't mean they were passing these classes.
All the time.
It ain't the world leaving you behind, man. It's your line of thinking. You think the science stopped evolving because you stopped learning, and it don't work that way. I couldn't imagine voting for somebody who thinks identifying with me is identifying with a felon. That's crazy as hell. I'm Mrs. Spann, and I'm approving these messages. This is the Mrs. Spann Official Podcast. Let's go. Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Mr. Spann Official Podcast. I'm your host, Mr. Spann. This is episode number 80 of the show. And yeah, man, it's been a couple weeks since the last time I talked to y'all, man. Been busy with work and life and stuff like that. But yo, we got some things happen over the course of the last couple weeks since the last time I talked to y'all. And we're going to talk about some of the stuff that's happened over the last couple weeks since the last time I talked to y'all. But of course, before we do that, I got to remind you guys how to get in touch with us over here at the Mr. Spann Official Podcast and let your voice be heard. Go ahead and hit up that hotline at area code 313-288-0485. There's area code 313-288-0485. Leave those voicemail messages. Of course, those messages will get played here live on the show and responded to in kind. And if you're watching us here live on YouTube and or Facebook, go ahead and chop it up with your man Spann live while we're doing the show. Again, the number is area code 313-288-0485. You can also hit me up on the social media streets, man. I am on Blue Sky. Barely, but I'm there. My name on there is Mr. Spann, MrSpann.bsky.social. So if you're on Blue Sky and you want to chop it up with your man Spann, that's how you do it. MrSpann.bsky.social. I am also on Threads. That is where you will find me primarily. I am on Threads and Instagram. My name on both of those platforms is Mr._Spann. So go ahead, follow me there. Chop it up with your man Spann throughout the week. Also, our YouTube channel, man. So I'm going through some things with the YouTube channel. I'm thinking about creating an entirely different YouTube channel for podcast growth reasons. So, right now, if you go to, the Spann Report on YouTube, you will find the shows, and you will continue to find the shows there. But I'm also considering doing something a little bit different for the Mr. Spann Official Podcast show, in and of itself. So there'll be something different coming up in the next few weeks with that. But if you are on Spotify or iTunes, that's not going to change, okay? We're going to be on Spotify. We're going to be on iTunes. And you can leave us 5-star reviews on both. And we appreciate you guys who do leave the 5-star reviews. The 5-star reviews are the ones that get read here live in the show. We appreciate everybody who does that. Doesn't cost you a dime. Just a couple minutes of your time to let everybody know why you're rocking with us over here at the Mr. Spann Official Podcast and the Spann Report Podcast Network in its entirety. And also, if you want to give us some money, man, because I know sometimes people want to, they want to put down for what we, they want to put out. They want to put something on it, right? And I applaud you guys for wanting to put something on it. So for those of you who want to put something on it and help us continue to do this thing and give in a very tangible way, we have a store, man. Our store link is always in the show notes. You can go to our store and buy yourself some merch, man. You can get yourself a hoodie, get yourself a t-shirt, get yourself a coffee mug, get yourself a water bottle, get yourself a mouse pad. It's a whole bunch of little stuff in there in the store that we think looks good, and we would appreciate if you guys would, just buy some of that stuff and help us out here, help pay some of the bills and how this podcast thing costs, because it's not free. It's not free, but we appreciate you guys for helping and stepping up in that way, man. And yeah, man. So for those of you who would like to do that, the show, the link to our store is always in the show notes, man. Real talk. But yeah, man. So like I said, it's been a couple weeks. The last time I talked to y'all, I've been doing some stuff, man. I've been trying to again, like I said, I want to try to figure out a more dynamic way into bringing you guys more content, man. Not just, the show in and of itself, but also when I'm out and about in the world and stuff. I kind of want to be more dynamic in how I do this content creation thing. And, sometimes the real job gets in the way, the shit that pays all of the bills. Sometimes that takes precedent over everything else. But I've been trying to, figure some things out on the back end. And so that's what's been going on for the last couple of weeks. And that's part of the reason why you guys hadn't got a show, because I've been doing some other stuff on the back end to try to figure out some new ways to present you guys more content and more thoughtful, more dynamic, so to speak, content, so you guys can enjoy that, man. Real talk. But yeah, man, I was just a couple random thoughts real quick, man. I was at work, and I told this story on Facebook earlier this week, but I was working in this neighborhood, man, and for whatever reason, like this neighborhood has a lot of feral cats. Right now, I'm not the biggest cat fan. I'm not, I'm just not. Like, I don't feel like cats follow rules. Cats don't follow rules the way dogs follow rules. You tell a dog to sit the fuck down somewhere. If you have a well-trained dog, your dog gonna sit the fuck down somewhere. Cat will look at you like, nigga, please. Nigga, who the fuck you think you is, right? I chose you. You didn't choose me. I'm only here because I want to be, right? I get that vibe from cats, man. I really do. And the other thing about cats, man, is that whenever I'm in a home and I'm working in someone's home and they do have cats, I've seen cats just do things that I just be like, nah, man, you could. I don't know if I could be. I would abide by that. Like I've seen cats. I go into a house, I walk through the kitchen, and there's a cat on the counter in the sink drinking water out of a bowl that should have probably been washed already. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, man, so they prepare food here and the cat just be up on the counters and shit. And that's also a reason why a nigga don't really fuck with potlucks. You know what I'm saying? Because, your cat in there doing whatever the fuck he want to do. You know what I'm saying? The other thing, too, man, when I go and I'm in somebody's house, for whatever reason, man, people have this tendency of putting the litter box right next to the furnace, and I hate that shit. Cause it's cooking the doo doo, man. Like it's just warming up the doo doo, and it permeates throughout the. Like I don't know if people get nose blind to the shit or what, but yeah, man, it's just something about I'm not knocking cat owners, man. I'm glad that these owners and these cats have found each other and they love each other and stuff like that. I'm just saying, for me, I don't hate cats. I'm just not, I don't want one. Right? I'll say that I don't want one, but So it's a lot of feral cats in this neighborhood, I've noticed. And I'm guessing that maybe they had a rat problem or something in the neighborhood. And maybe someone was like, hey, maybe one of the ways that we can get rid of the rats is we get a bunch of these feral cats in the neighborhood, and these feral cats will just hunt these motherfuckers down and we good. And so I'm sitting in my truck because it was a hot day, a very hot day. It's been very hot here the last few days. We've been getting temperatures into the mid 90s and shit like that. So we didn't really schedule a whole hell of a lot of intense work because it's hot, right? So I'm in my truck. I'm in the AC in my truck, and I see this feral cat, just minding his business and shit. But he walks into this yard. And the cat, he does this thing where I'm thinking he's hunting some shit down, but basically he's hunting for a spot to go take a shit, right? The cat is hunting for a spot to go take a shit. So I'm watching him, and then he finally just goes and he's doing his thing, and then I I call out to the cat, and I'm like, yo, I don't know what came over me, because that's some real cartoonish type shit. I don't know what came over me, but I call out to the cat. I'm like, hey, bruh. You wrong as hell, man. You wrong as hell for taking a shit in on people's yard like that. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know this motherfucking cat turned and looked at me like, nigga, what? The cat just had this look of disdain on his face for man, you had a lot of motherfucking nerve. I live here, nigga. You don't. This is my neighborhood. You just a visitor here, dog. That's how he looked at me. The cat actually looked at me with a whole lot of goddamn contempt. And yeah, that happened. That happened this week. It was kind of hilarious, that was kind of a thing. Yeah, but outside of random, that's the only random thought I really had and shit, because that's random as hell. How many times do you have a cat just look at you like it's judging you for judging it? That's crazy as hell. So we got that going on, man. Real talk. But yo, man, let's get into the show, man. We got some things going on. We got some things going on in the world. So let's see exactly what's happening, man. My first story here, Nick Cannon apparently is talking about coming out with another relationship podcast. Nigga! Yeah, man. So we get this here. This story comes out of the Hollywood Reporter. It says that Nick Cannon to launch, let's see, continue without supporting because fuck y'all ads. But Nick Cannon to launch a podcast giving relationship advice. Now, I'm not sure if Nick Cannon is the biggest person, the best relationship person to get advice from. We know who to go to when you want to get somebody knocked up. Okay, we do know that when it comes to Nick Cannon. If you want somebody knocked up, Nick Cannon is your guy. Nick Cannon is spreading his seed far and wide in the world, right? Wondery, who's a podcast company, I've listened to a bunch of Wondery podcasts before. I really like there's a history podcast I would normally listen to. I'm forgetting the name of it right now. That's kind of blowing me, but it's a really good podcast. Shit, what's the name of it? Now I hate that I don't know the name of this damn podcast. I used to listen to it all the time, but it would reenact historical shit. And oh well, it don't matter. Anyway, Wondery is giving Nick Cannon a podcast. It will also include a panel of experts and celebrity guests. It says the podcast Nick Cannon at Night We'll see the actor and rapper open up his personal DMs and answer written questions from listeners about love, sex, relationships, and dating questions. Cannon will tape the show in front of a live audience in Los Angeles and will also bring in topical experts and celebrity guests for each episode. I wonder if he's going to have Cheyenne Bryant on the show, because I know he had a thing. Cheyenne Bryant, Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, she had been doing going through the podcast round. She had did some. She had did an episode with Nick Cannon. She also did an episode with Cam Newton, who's also a podcaster now. A lot of celebrities jumping into the podcasting game, and she's been on their podcast, and her being on these podcasts have garnered a bunch of controversies as to like how she's approached both of those men and their proclivities of creating babies all over the place, and that left a lot of niggas feel in their feelings about her and what she's had to say about that. But I wonder if he would opt to have her come back on. It says, as the announcement notes, Cannon is hosting the show as a father of 12 with 6 different women, and as someone who has had his relationships heavily scrutinized. When it comes to his personal life, Nick has never shied away, unapologetically leaving the world curious about his views on dating, fatherhood, and modern relationships. So who better to offer advice? I mean, to be a baby daddy? I guess, man. I guess. Since the podcast, which is created in partnership with Wondery, will premiere July 23rd, which means it probably started this weekend. Or this past week, with episodes on YouTube, Wondery Plus, and all the podcast platforms. Cannon will also conduct man on the street style interviews about relationship questions and Anonymous at Night, where Nick and his guests respond to anonymous sex and relationship questions. So, I mean, I guess I guess y'all ready for another relationship podcast. I feel like the relationship podcast space is a little saturated. But also, like, shit, I guess that's what people love, like the relationship shit, like the gender wars of it all. Like that will never go away. Like, there's always going to be this battle between men and women, and trying to figure it out between men and women. And so I guess that's what lends to there being so many of these types of podcasts, man. It's just like, yo, do we really need another one at this point? But who the fuck am I but another nigga on the podcast in the world with a podcast, right? So we got that going on, man. Real talk. Another thing that happened over the course of this week, man, Hulk Hogan, wrestling dude, he died this week. Yeah, man, we don't really have a lot of sympathy for racists around here.
It's above me now.
Yeah, we don't really have a lot of sympathy for racists. He actually died at the age of 71, and the day that he died actually came on the 10-year anniversary. The 10-year anniversary that we all found out that Hulk Hogan didn't like black people, man.
I'll be a monkey's bare-assed uncle.
Yeah, man, and when it came out, he shit. When it came out, he just like kind of doubled down into the race. Well, you know what? I take that back. He didn't double down into the racism per se, but he did double down with some folks who didn't mind the racism when he became an outspoken Trump supporter and everything else. Right? He was one of the highlights of the RNC convention last year. His very last appearance at a WWE event, they booed the fuck out of him. So it wasn't as if he didn't understand why people wasn't rocking with him, right? But we read the story here. This also comes out of the Hollywood Reporter. It says Hulk Hogan, pro wrestler who became a household name, dies at 71. The blonde and boisterous body slammer who brought pro wrestling into the mainstream in the 1980s while becoming one of the most recognizable celebrities of his generation died Thursday. Hogan's death was confirmed to the Hollywood Reporter by promoter Eric Bischoff, his partner in the recently launched Real America Freestyle Amateur Wrestling League. Now, I did hear about that. I was like, oh, damn, he just launched the wrestling league and boom, he just croaked. TMZ reported that medical personnel were sent to his home in Clearwater, Florida, with operators stating it regarded a cardiac arrest. The Hulkster headlined WrestleMania 8 times, with perhaps his most memorable being the WWE signature event coming in 1987 against the 520-pound Andre the Giant, his mentor, in the Pontiac Silverdome before a then record crowd of 93,173. Get to the shit I want to talk about. Not everything went smoothly for Hogan. In 1994, he admitted that he used steroids for 13 years. 12 years later, he was ostracized by the WWE and removed from his Hall of Fame after he was heard making disparaging racial comments in a leaked sex video.
That's the same attitude that got your ass fired in the first place.
In 2016, the wrestler was awarded $140 million by a Florida jury after he sued the celebrity website Gawker, which had released a clip of the video. Peter Thiel, who also is a very big Trump supporter, the billionaire co-founder of PayPal, backed Hogan's case. After losing in court, Gawker filed for bankruptcy protection and sold itself to Univision in 2016. Hogan eventually wound up with $31 million in the settlement. He was welcomed back into the WWE fold and the Hall of Fame in 2018 because, for whatever reason, they just thought, hey, man, it's just a little bit of racism. It's just a little, we hate to not have him here.
Oh, man. Hey.
We hate to not have him here. So they invited his racist ass back. And, he, went on to just become, who he was until his dying day. It was interesting to watch, some of the reaction to Hulk Hogan's death this past week, man. I know some people, some of my friends, man, who still watch wrestling. I gave up wrestling when I found out the shit was phony back in like 91, 92. I might have been 11 or 12 years old. Once I found out the matches were like kind of predetermined and it was all scripted and all that other shit, that's when it just lost its luster for me. But a lot of my friends, man, to this day, they still watch wrestling. They still have a connection to the sport. They still have a connection to the product, despite some of the problematic ways in which the company has operated, despite the fact that, there's been a lot of racism within the WWE and the wrestling, thing as a whole. They still fuck with it. And I don't knock them for it. I just know it's not for me. It was interesting to watch them kind of like process the nostalgia that they had for Hulk Hogan and what he meant to the sport and the memories he gave them as children and things like that. But then also come to the very real realization that he just didn't fuck with fans that looked like them, and a lot of them they were grappling with that. And I felt bad for those dudes, right? I felt bad for them in a sense because I'm like, man, like it's got to be fucked up for you to be like damn near 50 and you fucked up about this dude and you conflicted about this dude because he body slammed somebody back in 87, nigga. Like he lets you know what he thought of you and your people a while ago, and here you are still grappling with it. I'm like, I guess, my nigga, but I'm trying to be empathetic, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, like, come on, bro, like, be for real, be for real. But yeah, man, Hulk Hogan, Croak, 71 years old, so you got that going on. Another story that we got going on, man. Rapper Xzibit has emerged, man. Rapper Xzibit has emerged from the ether. Xzibit has emerged from the ether, and he is coming up to let us know that there are real things that we need to be coming together about, and the things that we need to be coming together about is actually the emergence and we need to bring back Old English 800. Nigga! Yeah, man. Xzibit is he's a bit perturbed at the fact that the malt liquor has been discontinued. Okay, so we get this story here out of Complex, man. Rapper Xzibit is he calls for 90s niggas to unite after discovering that Old English 800 was discontinued. So Xzibit is campaigning for the return of Old English 800 40 ounce in a glass bottle. Oh my God. The former Pimp My Ride host took to Instagram on Wednesday to make his plea to his fellow malt liquor lovers, writing, 90s niggas unite. We under attack. This nigga said we under attack, bruh.
Niggas.
Oh, man. I found out they're discontinuing Old English 800. Oh, man. I bet you Martin Luther King right now, like, are you fucking serious, bro? I died for this type of shit. You guys to be fucking kidding me. In his video, Xzibit shared that he found himself perplexed when he went to the store to buy a 40-ounce bottle for his friend's birthday. I haven't bought a 40 in a long time, so looking for an Old English 800, I can't find one. Then I see that they got Miller High Life, so I get that, right? He says, so I get to the house, I'm like, yo, I'm going to find an Old English 800 in a bottle. And then I come to find out the Miller Brewing Company is the manufacturer for Old English 800, and they started putting it in a plastic bottle. That's the last time I saw it, which was a huge step down from where they used to have them in glass bottles, right? Hold on, there's video to this. Hold on. This nigga is talking about this, and the look on his face is very fucking serious. Wait a second. Let me see if I can pull this up so you guys can watch right along with your man Spann. Wait a minute. This nigga he looks upset about this. All right. Let's see what Xzibit is talking about in regards to the Old English 800. He looks upset. Wait a second. This shit just took me someplace else. Ain't that a bitch? All right. Let me make sure that you guys can see what I'm seeing. So let me take this tab down. And let's exit that. I'll have to do this again. All right. Now they took me to Instagram instead of just playing it on their website for whatever reason. But let's see what Xzibit is talking about.
Listen, so I went to the store today to find a 40 ounce. A friend of mine is having a birthday and we wanted to get him a 40 ounce. I went to the store, I started looking for, I haven't bought a 40 in a long time, so I'm looking for an Old English 800. Can't find one. Hey, can't find one. Then I see they got a Miller High Life, so I get that, right? I haven't bought a 40 in a long time. So I get to the house, I'm like, yo, I'm gonna find an Old English 800 in a bottle. And then come to find out that Miller Brewing Company is the manufacturer for Old English 800, and they started putting it in a plastic bottle. That's the last time I saw it, which was a huge step down from where, we used to have them in glass bottles, right?
What's interesting is that he's talking about, it was a huge step down from when we used to have them in glass bottles, as if Old English 800 was the pinnacle of fucking beer drinking, my nigga. Like, he's talking as if this is the creme de la creme of your beer consumption. Nigga, it is malt liquor. It is the shit that they don't want to sell you. That's why it's so cheap. It's the bullshit beer. It's the shit that they just trying to get rid of, man. Oh, my God. It's why it's so cheap.
So, long story short, I find out these people are discontinuing the Old English 800 and focusing on making premium brands on their beer. Yo, you built that company off a lot of rap music and Old English 800 40s getting bought. How dare you take that away from us?
Here's the thing, right? If Miller bought Old English 800, I'm not sure. As a matter of fact, let's ask, hey, Google, when did Miller Brewing Company buy Old English 800?
1999.
Okay.
To en.wikipedia.org. The 1999 acquisition of Old English 800 by Miller meant its share of the U.S. malt liquor business grew to 36%.
Okay.
It also led to a less controversial marketing strategy for the brand, one that by 2000 included the sponsorship of a series of minority business seminars.
All right. So Old English 800 was bought by Miller Brewing Company back in 1999. At that point, many people weren't really just buying Old English 800 anymore. I think Old English 800's run had kind of come to its conclusion by that point. It wasn't like even St. Ives had overtaken Old English 800 as the drink of rappers and shit back in the day. So when Miller bought Old English 800, it wasn't the staple of the hip hop community that it used to be. But he's talking yo, man, they fucking off the hip hop community by getting rid of Old English 800. It's like, nigga, that shit was poison to the community, bro. It wasn't a good thing. Old English 800 wasn't a good thing. And if you look at the look on this nigga's face, he's serious as shit. He is serious as shit right now. That's what's throwing me off the most. This nigga is highly offended. He is upset. He is genuinely fucking upset.
You know what I'm saying? We still enjoy that shit. I started thinking about the 40 and went there and tried to go get one, and it's discontinued. I had to buy that. Let me see this shit. I had to buy this shit.
This nigga is upset.
That's not a 40.
This nigga is upset. Look how mad he is about that Miller High Life.
Nigga!
This nigga is highly upset. Now, here's the thing, right? My father-in-law loves him a Miller High Life, man. My wife actually loves her Miller High Life. It says the champagne of beers. Now, I'm not a Miller High Life drinker. I don't knock them for that Miller High Life love. You know what I'm saying? But this nigga is highly fucking set about the Miller High Life, bro. It's crazy.
I'm disappointed. Somebody call me. I need a meeting at Miller. Old English, 800, in a glass bottle.
Now, I hope, because, you know, Xzibit did take some acting classes. He was in a rap battle in the 8 Mile movie. I hope that Xzibit is acting right now in this very moment with the disdain and the look of worry that he has on his face over the demise of the Old English 800. I really hope that this is just like him being fucking like funny, ironic, you know, sarcastic, all those different things, right? I hope that's what this is. But he really selling this thing on about being upset about this OD, man.
Please put it back on the shelf.
All right. But yeah, man. Xzibit coming, raising from the ether, man, to talk about the things that fucking matter, man. Real talk. So we got that going on. Let's see what else we got going on out here in the world, man. Oh yeah, so Donald Trump is out here accusing Barack Obama of treason and shit. So you got that going on. Yeah, man. So, you know, the last time I talked to y'all, you know, we talked about the Epstein stuff and, you know, Donald Trump being, you know, maybe mentioning the Epstein files. Elon Musk talked about that about a month ago. And sure enough, Donald Trump was, you know, named in the Epstein files.
Well, I'll be a monkey's bare-assed uncle.
It wasn't like anybody was surprised about that, though, right? I don't think anybody who's listening to the sound of my voice didn't think that Donald Trump would have been named in the Epstein files, considering the fact that them motherfuckers was friends. This video of them motherfuckers together, checking out girls and shit. This dude Epstein was at this nigga's wedding, man. Like, so it's like, yeah, that was his partner. That was his road dog. You know, Donald Trump and Epstein was thick as thieves. You know what I'm saying? We've seen Donald Trump talk about, you know, possibly, you know, dating girls who were already like 15 or like 10 years old, talking about, I'm going to be dating her in 20 years or in 10 years, or like openly talking like, you know, openly talking like he desired his daughter, Ivanka. Like, it was some weird ass shit, right? So we know this about Donald Trump. No, like anybody who's had any fucking consciousness of anything in the last 40 years knows Donald Trump is kind of a fucking creep, right? It didn't stop 70 motherfucking million people from voting for his ass, though, for whatever the fuck reason. But you know, like he's been throwing shit at the wall, man. Donald Trump has been throwing a whole bunch of shit at the wall in hopes to get the shit to stick because he's trying to get the heat up off of him on his Epstein stuff, right? And the weird thing about it is the Epstein stuff is what the right wing thought that they were going to be able to weaponize against the left. Right? They thought that, hey, Bill Clinton is in the Epstein files, and they don't recognize, like, and this is why when anytime someone would say that the left and the right are the same, it's kind of bullshit. Because if you noticed, like, let's just say, for instance, Al Franken, right? Al Franken was a fucking comedian before he became a United States Senator. I believe he was a senator out of the state of Minnesota. He was a comedian before. Pictures of him came out where he was groping a woman's breast in the photographs. I believe he was doing it for comedic effect or whatever. I don't remember all of the details around it, but you know, the way in which it was approached was like, hey man, like, you know, we talk about having, you know, respect for women and respecting women's bodily autonomy and things of that nature. Guess what happened? Al Franken got moved the fuck up out the paint. They got his ass up out of Congress, man.
Well, I'll be a monkey's bare-assed uncle.
So, like, you know, Democrats on the principle of it got his ass up out of Congress. That same thing doesn't necessarily happen for Republicans, at least in today's time. Like, hell, we saw what's her face, Lauren Boebert, congresswoman out of Colorado, give a dude a hand job at a play, and she's still in Congress. Her people didn't wasn't trying to force her out of her seat, right? And she ran again and won again after the shit came out. So it's like the hypocrisy of it is the thing for people who remember when the Republican Party was the party of family values and you know, they wanted, you know, like they wanted people to comport themselves in a certain type of way. They don't actually comport themselves in that type of way. They're really hypocritical in a lot of these instances, right? So Donald Trump comes out. He's been talking about Oprah Winfrey needs to be investigated. Hillary Clinton needs to be investigated. Barack Obama is guilty of treason because he started an investigation into Russia's interference into our elections back in 2016, and he wanted that investigation to be completed before the end of his term so that he can hand that information to Donald Trump so that Donald Trump could know how the Russians had been trying to influence our election. Now, Donald Trump, being the narcissistic son of a bitch that he is, he's thinking, oh, you trying to say that I didn't win this motherfucking election legitimately and that I needed help from the Russians, as opposed to taking the motherfucking information the way he should have and say, hey, there's a foreign country who's invading our sovereignty and trying to influence our elections. Yeah, they influenced our elections on your behalf, but that doesn't mean that they won't necessarily do that in a different way, a different time. But we got a narcissistic, stupid son of a bitch who only does things on his own, like for his own benefit, sitting in the White House right now, which is why it's so frustrating when you see his supporters who don't recognize that Donald Trump does nothing for no one but himself. The only reason he ran the last time was to keep his ass out of jail, and they helped him avoid prison by electing his ass to the presidency a second time after the disaster that was the very first Trump administration, right? So what does he do? Outside of accusing Barack Obama of treason and everything else, now he has Tulsi Gabbard come out. Tulsi Gabbard gives a news conference at the White House conference room, and she allegedly is bringing out new information. So we're gonna pull this video up so you guys can see right along with your man Spann. I got this video from Threads. So again, have patience with your boy because they don't have proper fucking video controls over on Threads for whatever reason. But I'm gonna pull this up so you guys can watch right along with your man Spann. I'm gonna see if I can rewind this a bit. And let's see exactly what they're talking about here.
Criminal matter. And I want to get to that right now because I've heard talk of a criminal referral. Are you referring this in a criminal matter?
We are referring all of the documents that we have uncovered to the Department of Justice and the FBI for a criminal referral.
Yeah. And do you believe that we will see prosecutions? I mean, our audience wants to know where this story goes from here. Will we ever see anyone held accountable for this incredible lie on the American people?
I will do all that I can, and we have whistleblowers, actually, Maria, coming forward now after we release these documents, because there are people who were around, who were working within the intelligence community at this time, who were so disgusted by what happened. We're starting to see some of them come out of the woodwork here because they, too, like you and I and the American people, want to see justice delivered. So we're going to provide everything that we have, everything that we will continue to gather to the Department of Justice for that direct intent and that direct purpose. There must be indictments, those responsible, no matter how powerful they are and were at that time, no matter who was involved in creating this treasonous conspiracy against the American people, they all must be held accountable.
Now, I'm going to mute this and I'm going to have to rewind this a little bit because of, because of their video controls. But interestingly enough, not only did they already investigate this the first time that Trump was president, but there was a bipartisan Senate Intelligence Committee dedicated to figuring out what was going on with that. And it was led by the current Secretary of State by the name of Marco Rubio, right? Who's a Republican, who also corroborated what the intelligence community said at the time while he was leading the Senate Intelligence Committee, right? So then on top of that, you had Tulsi Gabbard out here saying the same shit. She was out here echoing the same thing, that Russia did, in fact, try to influence the election. So now we, now have her come out talking about some, there were, we got whistleblowers coming. We're going to find out whether or not these whistleblowers actually fucking emerge. But also, it's just interesting that like they're talking about prosecutions and things of that nature when it was just last year that the Supreme Court talked about having presidents having broad immunity while carrying out their duties as president. That shit doesn't stop at Donald Trump. That means all presidents, including Barack Obama, including Joe Biden, including George W. Bush, including who's the last? I think those are the last living guys, right? So those dudes have broad immunity for a lot of shit. So the idea that y'all gonna throw this red herring out there for the base to say, hey, we gonna prosecute Obama. This is again yet another attempt at them trying to distract from, hey, Donald Trump is really tied into this Epstein shit, and we don't really have an answer for it. So we gonna throw y'all some shit. Hey, Obama, and it's like a knee-jerk kind of thing with these motherfuckers, man, when it comes to Obama, man, real talk.
Are and were at that time, no matter who was involved in creating this treasonous conspiracy against the American people, they all must be held accountable.
So do you expect, just to be clear, do you expect indictments and prosecutions?
I'm not a lawyer. In my view, we have the evidence to be able to move forward and bring about justice. Yes, to prosecute and indict those responsible.
And I want to really put a spotlight on who's responsible, because we've talked about the highest levels. Barack Obama, John Brennan, James Clapper. But we also have to look at things like, you just found all of this. Why didn't Durham find it? Why didn't Mueller find it? Okay, what about the FISA judges? Because when you look at this because
it's bullshit, lady. Come on. Come on. like this other thing too, man. Like, why does Maria Bartiromo always look like she's fucking hammered every time she's on television, man? That woman looks like she is, and I drink on the show. That woman looks hammered every time she's on television. I don't get what happened to her, but every time I see her on television, like, she getting fucked up before she get on camera, man. It's crazy. It's fucking crazy.
His desk, and what about the FISA judges? Because when you look at this seditious conspiracy aimed at overthrowing the U.S. government and an elected president, you have to consider also the black robes. You've got to look at the FISA judges. And how about the fact that the judge who gave a slap on the wrist to Kevin Kleinsmith, who was the FBI agent who lied on an official document about Carter Page, who was spied on for a year, that judge is Judge James Boasberg. He's still at his desk, and he's still trying to stop Donald Trump.
And you're putting his name out there so that those folks who are Trump supporters can now start trying to, look into harassing him. Again, like, you got to understand, because, like, when this shit came out, Barack Obama's death threats went up. Because, again, these people are fucking unhinged, man. These are the same folks who really bought into this idea that the election had been stolen from them and went to the Capitol and beat up cops and got one of their people shot. And this is how you know they don't really fucking believe in the rule of law so long as the rule of law agrees with them, right? So yeah, man. Again. This is just one thing that they're throwing up because Trump can't get behind. He cannot escape from the fact that, like, Epstein was his guy. Epstein was his boy for the better part of damn near 20 years. They was thick as thieves. And so because his base had been so riled up about Epstein, and they thought that Epstein was so tied into, exposing left-wing malfeasance, it's hard for them to now accept that, like, now Donald Trump's people are in office and they're in charge of releasing all this information, and they won't release the information because the dude that they fucking worship is tied all up into that shit. He was briefed in May that his name was in the Epstein files. So this is why he doesn't want y'all talking about it. And this is why he's trying to throw everything at the fucking wall but the kitchen sink to get his base from talking about all this other shit. So again, like I said, he throws Obama out there as he throws Obama's name out there as again, because it's almost like a reflex for these motherfuckers. Obama, oh shit, racist. That's kind of what they into, man. Real talk. My man Jay Full is in the chat room. Jay Full has this to say. He says, let's see, Trump is so desperate. He was even talking about arresting Beyonce. Now, why the fuck would anybody want to arrest Beyonce? Beyonce ain't out here to do nothing but like making black women happy, going out here producing bombshell fucking concerts, man. I just saw she did her last show with in Las Vegas and brought back Destiny's Child, man. All the black women I know that love Beyonce, they're getting their motherfucking life to Beyonce. But he doesn't have anything. He doesn't have anything. He's just throwing shit to the wind because he doesn't have anything. He's trying to distract y'all. And like, for the most part, it hasn't been working. Some of them right-wing folks are like, yo, man, like, yo, like, this is some bullshit. And some of them maybe having the wool kind of pulled back from their eyes a little bit. But like, for anybody who's been on the opposite side of this for the last 10 years, you be like, bro, how the fuck did this take this? Why is it this that's opening your eyes to the fact that he's a piece of shit? Why does it take this for you to finally realize he's been lying to you for the last fucking decade? But, you know, I guess, man, the sad part about this is that the rest of us have to suffer for the ignorance of the rest, you know, for those people who thought that Donald Trump being president a second time was a good fucking idea, right? We all had to pay for that. So, you know, you got that going on, man. Shout out to my man J4. What's going on with you, brother? I hope you good. Let's see, man. What else we got going on in the world? Because, like I said, man, Maria Bartiromo looks fucking hammered every fucking time, bro. I don't know what's going on with that lady. She looks hammered, bro. But yo, man, so Trump supporters, man, are having to live with the fact that they are being Trump supporters, man. It's kind of fucked up. So we get the story here. This comes out of NBC Washington, and there's a green card holder, who supported Donald Trump. He's from Canada. He's a green card holder. He went to Canada for a visit, and now, for whatever reason, he can't come back to the United States of America. That wasn't the one that I wanted, but it works. It works. So let me see if I can pull this up so you guys can watch right along with your man Spann here. Let me remove this and then set it up the correct way. But let's see. It's a New Hampshire man, and he for whatever reason he's been denied entry into the United States, but he's also a Trump supporter. So you got that going on. So let's see what's going on with 46-year-old Chris Landry and why he can't come back to the United States, man. What did they have on him where he couldn't come back? What did he do?
For me to at least see an immigration judge and let them decide my fate, I guess. I'm not sure.
First at 11, a New Hampshire man is facing a lot of uncertainty as he tried to return home from a trip from Canada. He was blocked. Thanks for staying up with us. I'm Colton Bradford.
And I'm Priscilla Casper. We want to get right out to our Michael Rosenfeld. He's joining us live from New Hampshire. Michael, you talked with him earlier today. What is he saying about the situation?
Well, Priscilla, he says he's lived here in New Hampshire for over 40 years. He goes back and forth to Canada at least
40 fucking years he's been here. So he's 46. He's been here basically since he was 6 years old. He goes back and forth to Canada because I'm sure he probably got family there and shit like that. He goes visit with his people and whatnot. 40 fucking years. But they ain't let his ass back over here.
At least once a year and has never had a problem until now.
I'm a legal resident green card holder. I have been since 1981.
Chris Landry has lived in New Hampshire since he was 3 years old. He has a partner, 5 children, and a job in manufacturing. He was stopped at the border in Holton, Maine.
Does he still have that job in manufacturing? You know, because some of these jobs don't give a fuck, man. Like, hey, you can't come to work. The best ability is availability, and your ass ain't available. So we gonna have to find somebody with the ability to be here. And they not. I wonder, does he still have his job? I hope they do like a follow up to this story.
On Sunday, while returning from a family vacation to Canada,
They pulled me aside and started questioning me about my past convictions in New Hampshire.
3 hours later, the 46-year-old was told he couldn't come home despite having a green card and being a legal U.S. resident. He spoke to us from New Brunswick, Canada.
They denied me re-entry and said don't come back or we will detain you. And the only way for me to get back in was to see an immigration judge.
In 2004 and 2007, Landry faced charges of marijuana possession and driving with a suspended license.
Man, they are catching motherfuckers with the smallest stuff, man. Now, here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. When Donald Trump was running for president, they were telling people, hey, we going after the criminals. We going after the hardened people who are killing folks, who are raping folks, who are kidnapping folks, who are selling drugs, and all these things, right? And then you start finding out that that's not what they meant at all. They were going after anybody with any sort of fucking legal issues whatsoever. So a marijuana charge, like marijuana, man, it's legal in how many different states in the United States of America? Like, it's 6 fucking dispensaries around my house within like half a mile. I can go right around the corner and buy weed if I wanted to, right? I could. And the police would watch me do it and not do a fucking thing about it. Same thing in California. Same thing in fucking, even some of these fucking conservative states. Like, I think Iowa is like legalizing weed. I think fucking, maybe even Texas is thinking about legalizing. All of these states are thinking about, hey man, we might be able to get some tax money off of this shit. Illinois didn't legalize weed. Now they taxing, motherfuckers to hell for that shit. So people are driving from Illinois to Michigan to come get their weed. But the point remains, a lot of these people, these states are re-examining their weed laws, and they are holding this guy up for a weed possession and a suspended driver's license. That doesn't sound like a murderous motherfucker to me. That doesn't sound like a rapery motherfucker to me. That doesn't sound like a kidnapping nigga to me. But they are holding a bunch of people up for this shit. And ironically enough, this guy is a Trump supporter. I'm sure he did not think that he would be caught up in the shit that he voted for.
But says he's had no criminal record since. He was given a suspended sentence and paid his fines.
So I never thought that would threaten my status as a resident of the United States.
U.S. Customs and Border Protection telling us in a statement, possessing a green card is a privilege, not a right. And under our nation's laws, our government has the authority to revoke a green card if our laws are broken and abused. Lawful permanent residents presenting at a U.S. port of entry with previous criminal convictions may be subject to mandatory detention and/or may be asked to provide additional documentation to be set up for an immigration hearing.
Just very uncertain for me right now. I might end up spending the rest of my life in Canada, and who knows if I'll ever even have the right to re-enter the United States at this.
One of the things that I think about while watching stories like this, right? Say for instance, if I wanted to go out of the country, if I wanted to go to the Bahamas or something, if I want to go to Jamaica, if I just want to take a Caribbean trip or some sort, and I'm someone who has also been arrested. Now, the cases that I have been arrested for were all thrown out. I wasn't convicted of nothing. But the fact that I had been arrested, I still have an arrest record. I wonder about, when I came back, when I was trying to come back home, whether or not that would be a thing that would hold me up. Like, hey, you got some gun charges on you. You got a solicitation charge on you. Like a solicitation charge, not in like solicitation sex. Okay, let's be clear on this, right? With some door-to-door sales type shit. But no, I think about that, man. I got a friend right now who's on a trip to China. She's in Shanghai, China right now. And one of the things I think about her coming home. And I'm like, yo, man, are they going to give her hell trying to get back home? Because of the ways in which this administration has been administering access to the United States, right? And so, I would wonder about whether or not they would give me hell trying to just get the fuck back home, despite the fact that I'm a citizen. I ain't no green card holder or anything like that. I am a citizen of the United States. I was born in fucking Chicago. I live in Detroit, Michigan. Like, that doesn't seem to like keep them from deporting motherfuckers. Or they deported a dude who was born in on a United States military base and deported this motherfucker to Jamaica. Right? Because he had some sort of criminal or some sort of arrest record and things of that nature. So, like, I want people to understand that, like, this is the type of shit that they have allowed and they have empowered, in this nation. right? These are the people that they've empowered in this nation. And so, like I said, I wonder if I was to ever take a trip like this out of the country, like what my reentry would be like because of the fact that I had been arrested before for gun possession, and the fact that that had gotten thrown out may not necessarily even mean anything to these people because, and not only that, I am a very vocal critic of the Trump administration. So that could be a thing that comes up too, right? I go out of the country, I come back and I'm like, hey, so what are your views on Donald Trump? And I'm like, yo, I don't like this son of a bitch. And then they start pulling up clips of the show, and now suddenly I got to stay in Jamaica. Despite the fact that I'm not a Jamaican resident, I'm not a Jamaican citizen, I don't have any Jamaican connections or anything like that. And now I gotta stay there because, this bitch made motherfucker is so sensitive to the fact that people don't like him in America, right? So like this is a very real thing, man. I don't know if enough people ever really thought about that much at all.
Point.
Landry, who lives in Peterborough, New Hampshire, was with 3 of his children when he was stopped at the border. The children will make their way home in the days ahead. Landry says he goes to Canada at least once a year and has never had a problem until now.
Why do you think this time it's a problem?
Because of the new administration and their new policies.
As a Canadian citizen, he couldn't vote for president, but he did support Donald Trump.
I was definitely all for Make America Great Again and having a strong, unified country. And
yeah, this is the part where I lose any fucking empathy for this guy, right? Because again, Donald Trump told us who he, we saw what Donald Trump was before. And again, the people who thought that Donald Trump being president a second time was a good idea after what we saw the first time, fuck you. From the very bottom of my balls, fuck you. Real talk.
And a bright future for my 5 American children. But now I feel a little differently.
So he has reached out to New Hampshire's congressional delegation, hoping they can intervene on his behalf. But right now he has no idea what will happen next. We're live in New Hampshire tonight. Michael Rosenfield, NBC 10 Boston.
I'm sure that the people who he's reaching out to, the congressional delegation from Massachusetts, is largely Democratic, but they are also because we didn't vote in numbers large enough. Say for instance, for like Democratic voters, we didn't vote in numbers large enough. He's gonna have a very hard time getting any movement on that because Democrats don't have any power right now. Right? That's the thing that so many people right now they're frustrated with the Democrats. They want the Democrats to do something, but the Democrats don't have the numbers to do something. And the reason why the Democrats don't have the numbers to do anything is because we didn't vote in the numbers to give them the fucking numbers to do any fucking thing. And this is why, it's so frustrating, man. It's so frustrating because we're finding out just how little civics education, how little United States government education is really being taught to the American populace, especially to a lot of these kids, man. They don't understand how their government fucking works. And they get so discouraged because things aren't going their way in one election cycle, and they just give up. And they think that well, fuck it then. It's two sides of the same coin, and it's fucking not. It's fucking not. We got my man Jay Full. He asked another question. He says, did the cops ever give you your gun back? No, sir, man. They did not give me my gun back. Yeah, man. When that case was adjudicated, my lawyer at the time tried to get the city of Chicago to give me that firearm back. But that was the one thing that the judge refused to do. He dismissed the case. He threw the case out, but he refused to give me my gun back. He refused to order the city of Chicago to give me my gun back. What he did was say that if I wanted my gun back, I could sue the city of Chicago for possession of that gun, but it would just cost me less to just go out and buy another fucking firearm, and which is what I did. At the time, I had the gun that they took was a Glock 27, which is a subcompact 40 caliber pistol. And I just replaced it with a subcompact Springfield XD 40 caliber. And I found that gun a lot more comfortable to shoot, so I never went back to Glock. So, so we got that going on, man. I appreciate the question though. Let's see, man. Let's see what else we got going on. Oh, yeah. So this is what we here for tonight, though. So Jubilee, man. Shout out to anybody who's familiar with Jubilee. Jubilee is a channel on YouTube. They've got 10 million motherfucking subscribers, man. It's a lot of people. I became familiar with Jubilee about 3 years ago. I would see some of their videos, man. It would be like the first videos that I would before they started doing this surrounded thing. The first videos that I would see from Jubilee would be Middle Ground. I believe that the videos were Middle Ground, and they would have, like, you know, people from opposite sides of a political spectrum, or people just on different sides of an issue. And they would have like maybe 4 or 5 people on one side, 4 or 5 people on another side, and they would just give you different prompts, right? And they would say, you know, they would present these prompts and say, well, like, you know, Donald Trump is bad for America, right? That'd be the prompt. And they would have some conservatives on one side, they have some liberals on the other side, and then the people who agreed with the prompt, they would come forward and they would talk about why they agreed with the prompt. And then after that, they would after the people that that agreed with the prompt would come forward and they would have some discussion, then they would bring up the people who disagreed with the prompt and they would talk about why they disagreed with the prompt, and then they would kind of argue kind of back and forth and stuff like that, right? Now, what I started to notice about some of the Jubilee videos was that, like, I noticed that, like, a lot of the people that would be on these videos were largely, like, you know, they were people who had followings. They were people who had, like, social media followings. So it wasn't like they were just actually just going out here and grabbing random people off of the street and having them express their views. It was people who had a following that they could garner more views from. I would assume, right? Like, so if you got, you know, they would have somebody from Fresh and Fit, and they would have somebody from some liberal podcast on, and then they would have someone from from TikTok or some shit like that. And there's a gnat in here and he's getting on my fucking nerves and I want to kill him, but I don't want to, like, shit, get out of here. Right? But so that's how I kind of became familiar with Jubilee. But what they've been doing lately, though, is that they've been having these things called Surrounded. So the Surrounded series is basically one person of a particular point of view would be surrounded by a bunch of people, about 20 people, who disagree with this person. And that person in the middle would create the prompt, and then 20 people would, like, race to this table to debate this person about this prompt that they presented, right? And so this has been, garnered Jubilee a lot of attention. Because again, it's one of those things where it's like it's part of debate culture. Like we've become, like, we've dived into this debate culture where, like, everyone feels as though they have a legitimate point of view. Oftentimes those point of views are kind of wacky. They're kind of out of the box. They're kind of like way the fuck out there. And there was a time in America, I'm old enough to remember this. I'm 45 years old. There was a time where if you came across a crazy motherfucker, you left them alone. But what we're doing now is we're platforming a lot of these crazy motherfuckers and presenting their ideas as legitimate, and also putting them across some very legitimate people, right? And so what we're finding is with Jubilee and with this with this Surrounded series, is what we're finding is there's a lot of really fringe people online who have cultivated a following online with other fringe people, and we're platforming them in a way that legitimizes them in a way, right? And this is their coming out party to a large degree, right? So Medhi Hasan is a world-renowned journalist, pretty established debater. He's typically seen as left wing, so to speak, and he was on a recent episode of Surrounded, and he was surrounded allegedly by 20 far right Republicans, right? This is what he's thinking. Medhi Hasan had absolutely no fucking idea that he was going to be surrounded by people that absolutely just hated his fucking guts.
Oh man, hate.
Yeah, man. So what we're gonna do is, because I know Jubilee is a little bit litigious, right? And I want to be able to react, because we're gonna do some reaction to some of this stuff that we're seeing here. We're gonna watch a little bit of this. We're gonna react to a little bit of this. I may have to like speed it up a little bit so we can, avoid some of the algorithm or whatever the fuck. I'm sure it should be covered under free use, but still, I've had issues with other channels who like flag my videos because I'm analyzing their shit, but they still like will flag my shit because some of their stuff got played, right? So I'm gonna probably speed it up a little bit so we can get through it. But yeah, man, we're gonna kind of analyze some of the things that Medhi is going through, but also, man, I just keep in mind, man, and this is part of the reason why I'm doing this again. It's a little bit personal for your boy, because again, I have Trump supporters in my life that I had to cut the fuck off, right? And when I talk about this, I've talked about this, and I forgot to mention earlier in the show, I'm going to be on an episode of 3 Guys On this week. So if you guys are behind the paywall and you listen to Andy Klein and Randolph Terrence, man, I'm on the show with them, and Ray Sani, who's dope as fuck. Like, I'm on the show with them, and we talked a bit about this on their show as well. I was on their show yesterday. I'm not sure when that comes out, but when it does come out, and if you're behind the paywall, you can listen to me on there talk about this a bit as well. But one of the things about this is that it leads, like, I've become so jaded when it comes to like the way in which we discuss anything in the world now, because of how the internet has kind of not only has it democratized voices to its lowest common denominator, but also has elevated voices that used to be suppressed, and those voices needed to be suppressed because they weren't really presenting anything beneficial to the grand scheme of the world population, right? Let's just keep it a buck. And I think Medhi Hasan found this out too while he was on this show. And so yeah, man, we're gonna like do some reaction, a bit of a reaction to this this episode of Surrounded. So bear with me here while I go ahead and pull this up here on the YouTube and shit. And let me do this here. All right, there we go. Okay. So let's see. Hold on a second. We got a comment here. My man GS28 is in the chat room. He says, I didn't know anything. I didn't know about Jubilee until this Medhi Hasan thing. Now, Jubilee has been a thing for a little while now, man. I saw a previous video of what was that? I want to say it was Sam Cedar. Sam Cedar was also on an episode of Jubilee, and this is kind of how like it starts like permeating through social media. You start seeing clips of these debates and stuff, and there was like there was this one guy debating Social Security and why Social Security is going broke, and Sam Cedar saying basically, yo, if we taxed billionaires in the ways in which we should tax billionaires, Social Security would be fucking okay. We would have the monies to pay Social Security, but we don't tax the billionaires in the ways in which we should tax the billionaires. And people are, it is weird to listen to like regular folks who don't make nearly that kind of money advocate on behalf of billionaires, right? It's weird to like watch people do that sort of shit. And it's like, yo, you are closer to not being a billionaire to being a billionaire. But for whatever reason, so many of these people think that they're closer to being billionaires than they actually are. So they always advocate on the fact on the side of money, not necessarily on the side that like they actually belong to. So, you got that going on. And he said, those immigrants on there. Yeah, we're going to get into it. So I'm going to rewind this here because there are certain people that I really kind of wanted to highlight, okay? I don't want to talk. I'm not going to do this entire thing. It's an hour and 40 minutes. We're already an hour and 4 minutes into this show. So we're not going to do an entire episode. We're basically going to kind of highlight a few of the whack jobs this motherfucker had to, like what he had to endure while doing this. And yeah, we're going to talk about that. So let me go ahead and pull this up so you guys can kind of like watch along. And I'm gonna maximize this so we can get this right. And All right, so let me get to the first, because I got a few people that I really did want to highlight. This is him discussing whether or not this is Medhi Hasan discussing whether or not Donald Trump is pro-crime and pro-criminal. And this guy here is a bit of a whack job. So let me go ahead and I'm gonna rewind this back to when he comes up. All right, here we go. Let's see what's going on.
Northern UK, I guess?
I'm from London, North London.
Okay, fair enough. What's your ethnic background, if you don't mind asking?
My parents are from India.
Okay, perfect. Just getting premise here. First of all, I want to say
the premise of Donald Trump being pro-crime.
No. I want to concern myself with why you care about what's happening in the U.S.
Okay, here's the thing, right? The prompt was Donald Trump is pro-crime and pro-criminal. This guy, the first thing he does is ask Medhi Hasan where he's from and where his parents are from. He wants to use that as the premise to discuss whether or not Donald Trump is pro-criminal and pro-crime.
First and foremost. Secondly, I want to say this.
Should people who live in the U.S. not care about?
Let's not interrupt each other. Because I have this thing, people know I have this thing. I have to stay calm, okay? So
So what the fuck is supposed to happen if you don't stay calm? You gonna whoop his ass? Come on, man. Like, and you can see the look on Medhi's face, like, what the fuck does that even what does that even have to do with this particular discussion?
I am happy that he released J6. In fact, so much so that I was prepared to protest if he didn't.
Okay.
So when you say, are you okay that he's pro-crime? Sure, because you know what? We're changing the definition of what crime is, first and foremost.
You don't think stomping on police officers' heads is a crime?
I don't think it's no longer a relevant conversation anymore. You're
Really?
arguing. No, it's not, because you know what? Okay, have you seen the U.S. in the last 4 or 5 years?
Yes, I've
BLM
lived
protests.
there for a
Have you
while.
seen? Okay, I myself have been involved in these protests. I've seen.
Okay, so he's equating Black Lives Matter protests with J6s, right? I challenge anybody who is a fucking Donald Trump supporter, who is a MAGA supporter, who is a right winger. I will challenge any of you stupid son bitches to find one instance of BLM supporters, BLM protesters whooping on cops.
There'll be a monkey's bare-assed uncle.
I want y'all to give me one instance of that. One. Find me an instance of a BLM person, of a Black Lives Matter supporter, whooping on a cop, killing a cop, any of that shit. Because that's exactly what the J6ers did on the Capitol. That's exactly what the fuck they did.
Egregious things that you couldn't even imagine.
So we have
being
no
done
rules
to
then?
conservatives. It's not about that. It's
What's it
about
about?
tribal warfare.
Okay.
That's where we're at in the U.S. I don't know where you're at in the UK. You're from India, so I don't really.
I'm not from India.
Oh, sorry, your parents are from India, so
I'm an American
you have
citizen.
your own stakes.
I'm an American, you know.
You're an American citizen?
Yes.
Okay, fair enough. I don't know how
Yes.
you got that, but fair enough. Here's the thing.
Are you an American citizen?
This man said, I don't know how you got that. Here's another thing too, man. A lot of the people who are not necessarily born in America, who have to go through, like the citizenship test to become an American, like I would bet that most of them know a little bit more about American history, know a little bit more about American jurisprudence than a lot of natural born motherfucking Americans, because we've never had to learn that shit. And it's obvious that a lot of them never had to learn that shit because they express themselves in this type of way, right? The civics lessons don't necessarily land with these motherfuckers. So I would bet that a lot of naturalized American citizens know a little bit more about American jurisprudence than a lot of natural born American citizens, because they wave that shit off. Why? Because they've never really had to learn it. They've never really had to learn the shit.
Absolutely.
Okay.
But here's the thing.
Not sure how you got that. Okay.
Born here.
Okay.
Born here, and my family lineage is settlers from the 1500s, so I have some stake in the claim here, okay?
But you're
a little different
But you're
than
a
yours.
descendant of immigrants, settlers,
I didn't know.
colonialists.
Yeah,
You don't
colonials.
look very Native American to me.
I am Native American. Whites
not.
are Native Americans. What are you
Sorry,
talking about?
you're not.
What are you talking about?
You're
Whites.
not. A judge, a Reagan-appointed judge.
I didn't mean to do that. I'm sorry. Jesus. But yeah, whites are not Native Americans. That's fucking ridiculous. The fact that he said that was fucking ridiculous. I was trying to pause it and then I hit the.
You know what? Let's focus
That's
on
what
what we
everyone
agree on.
focuses
I'm
on.
sure you and I actually.
Anyone
are
who
the same.
assaults a police officer shouldn't be settlers.
I didn't know.
Colonialists.
Yeah,
You don't
colonials.
look very Native American to me.
I am Native American. Whites are Native Americans. What are you talking about?
You're not.
What are you talking about?
But you notice, like the cat in the pink shirt behind him, though, like he's very into this shit. Like he's very, like the idea of whites being Native Americans. He's all into that shit. It's not fucking true, but you know, again, how we've devolved, like the way in which the discussions have been devolving.
Whites are Native Americans.
Really?
I think
what was happening before the 1500s?
I think you're getting confused with it.
I don't mind going on a tangent, but what was happening before the 1500s?
Calm down. I think you're getting.
What was happening before the 1500s?
There was indigenous people here that came here from Asia.
Do you know what indigenous means?
Listen, before
indigenous
America,
people can't come from somewhere else.
Why do you ask a question if you're going to interrupt?
I'm not sure if you know what the meaning of indigenous means.
I do know what it means. It means they came here first, right? They came here from Asia by way of land bridge. Have an argument with Neil deGrasse Tyson or anybody else about that. I don't care.
Is he an American?
I genuinely don't care. Yes, he is.
Okay, just checking.
My point is, okay?
Nothing to do with crime. So far, you've agreed with me that these people are criminals.
Because you're derailing, dude. I'm trying to stay on track.
You literally sat down and asked me where I'm from. I think you derailed this conversation from the get-go.
Because
I'm not offended. I'm just wondering what it has to do with crime.
Curious.
We're going to talk about immigration. Don't worry. Later on, you can come back.
I hope so.
Right now, you're doing a very bad job of making the case that he's not pro-crime.
I just got a round of applause. I could probably get another one actually if I asked for it.
Wow.
So I don't think I'm doing as bad.
Is this how you get rounds of applause? You sit in a room with 20 people who agree with you. Wow, amazing.
I love that. Like Medhi is like, yo, be for fucking real, bro. You sitting around a bunch of people who fucking agree with you, and you got around them, and that really put a battery in your fucking back. Like I love like the mockery that he's giving him right now.
Amazing. That must make you feel good.
You know what? I'm actually
20 people
glad
agree
you're
with
getting
you,
this
applauded you.
emotionally outraged right
Wow.
now. This is great.
I love it.
Do I have to say anything at this point, or are you just going to keep going?
No, please.
Okay.
Make your claim.
Well, my claim is that I don't care if it's pro-crime. You want to go back to the topic of conversation?
That's fine. We agree then.
So here's the thing, right? The prompt was Donald Trump is pro-crime and pro-criminal. This dude gets up at the table to debate Medhi Hasan on whether or not Donald Trump is pro-crime and pro-criminal. He just now admits that he doesn't care that Donald Trump is pro-crime and pro-criminal. Then what the fuck is there to debate? Right? What the fuck are they debating right now? Like, why are you even there? If you agree with it, basically you already agree with Medhi, you just don't care. So why are you there? This is what Medhi was confronted with. He started finding out a lot of these people just like, here's the thing. A lot of these discussions, and even you know, I'm willing to cop myself to this too. But a lot of these discussions happen online. Very seldom do a lot of these types of discussions happen in real life with real people. And so when you have these types of discussions with real people, a lot of the real people in the world who aren't having these types of discussions are looking at you like, man, what the fuck is this nigga talking about? Like, I don't know nothing. Like, what are they on some other shit, right? This is the far right. A lot of these people on the far right, the first time, and I can tell, man, I can fucking tell. This is the first time that many of them are having these discussions with real people in real life about the things that they really believe. And they're doing this in a very, very, very public way. But these are the types of discussions that they would have in 4chan, 8chan, Reddit, and things of that nature, where they would have these types of discussions and they're surrounded by people that agree with them. And now they're on a very public platform and they're against a seasoned debater. Again, Medhi Hasan is a very seasoned debater. But this is their opportunity to come out and test their fucking beliefs against someone who doesn't necessarily agree with them. And you can tell they weren't necessarily prepared. They weren't.
He's pro-crime.
But I have a question for you, though. Do you care on the opposite side of the spectrum?
Yes.
Do you care about law being administered to the opposite side of the spectrum?
I think anyone who assaults a police officer shouldn't be pardoned. I think that Donald Trump shouldn't have pardoned 9 Republican members of Congress who were convicted of crimes, and I don't think Joe Biden should commit. I don't think Democrats should pardon Democrats.
Fair, but I don't think you understand where we are in the U.S. then.
I think I do.
No, because you're arguing from a position of like a U.S. that doesn't exist anymore. Okay. We're headed towards
nihilism, no laws, nothing matters.
It's not about
everyone's pro-crime.
It's not about that. It's that conservatives for too long have been playing it safe. They've been playing by the law. They've been playing by the law. Yes, they have.
Maybe you missed the Bush presidency. Did you live here during the Bush years?
Conservatives are
didn't
so
play by
concerned.
the law, George W. Bush, nor did Ronald Reagan.
Let's be respectful to you. Let me finish.
I'm not sure you've been that respectful, but okay.
I'm trying to bring it back, so let's both bring it back, okay? I'm conservative, okay?
Really?
Let me tell you this. We do play it too safe. We've been playing it by the book for too long. Okay. At this point, gloves are off, right? The left has made their point. They're willing to do...
Are the police force in Washington the left?
Yes! Are you kidding me? The left? Are you insane?
The police are the left. These are the type of folks. These are the fucking folks, man. The police are the left. Get the fuck out of here, bro.
Look at LA right here. You think those stand down?
You think the LAPD are a bunch of liberal Marxists?
No, but I think they listen to liberal Marxists who tell them what to do.
Okay.
I think they listen to who signs their paychecks at the end of the day.
Can I just check, because you're doing lots of little diversions. We both agree Donald Trump's pro-crime. You're just fine with it.
No,
is that the position?
I don't.
That's what you've said so far for about 5 minutes.
I don't agree with your definition.
What's your definition of crime?
It doesn't
Stomping
matter.
on a police officer's head is not a crime. That's your definition of crime as the Native American.
I am Native American.
If you say so.
So going back to the topic at hand, we have different definitions of crime because you're talking about.
There's a criminal code in this country. It's called the U.S. Criminal Code.
You know what? Let's focus on what we agree on. I'm sure you and I actually agree on a lot more.
Do we agree that people shouldn't stomp on police officers' heads? Can we agree on that? If you don't agree on that, then I really think this conversation is kind of pointless.
No, because first of all, you're saying what? That the police have the authority, that they're given the authority. I don't accept the authority that's been given by liberal
position.
Man, now think about this for a second. He doesn't accept the authority that the police have. Mind you, like, did he have that same fucking mindset when it came to Black Lives Matter protests? When people were like, yo, they're killing us, extrajudiciously. We don't necessarily accept the fact that they should be able to kill us extrajudiciously. But mind you, he didn't give a fuck about that. He didn't give a fuck about that. As a matter of fact, he presented Black Lives Matter protests in opposition to the January 6th shit as if, the black people was doing some shit that we wouldn't necessarily agree with, but it's different when we do it, right? But he doesn't recognize the authority, allegedly, that police are supposed to have. Make that shit make fucking sense, man.
I'm the conservative or pro-police.
Then you don't know what a real... Hey, listen, you're in a room with juggernauts right now, okay? I'm telling you right now, you are going to be blown open if you think that my
if we're going to struggle with the English language for the next couple of hours, then
what you're up against right now, okay?
100%.
Yeah. Newsflash, the conservatives are liberal.
Now, also, notice this, okay? The flags are going up. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with the Surrounded series, when those flags go up, they're basically voting this motherfucker off the table. Okay, they're like, yeah, he fucking up. We need somebody else up here to argue this point. He fucking up. Now, they got to get at least the majority of these people in the circle to vote him off with the red flag. And so if you're noticing, the red flags are popping up all across the circle. Once you start saying the police are left and they start listening to the left wing, yada, yada, they're like, shit, we got to get this nigga out of here. We got to get this nigga out of here.
To me, okay? Neocons, libertarians, all those mainstream people, there might as well be leftists to me, okay? That's how far to the right I am. Do you understand my position? So when
I
you
kind of guessed it when you sat down.
say, about obeying police, why would I give the authority to police? Do you know here in America?
Do you think Donald Trump should be pardoning 9 members of Congress who committed financial crimes? Are you pro-financial crime?
Do you know
pro-financial crime?
Do you know who Thomas Timbo is?
Pause.
I think the people who clapped you have voted you out.
All right. Head back to your seat.
Also, shout out to Mickey. He's like, yo, man, those people that just was clapping for you a minute ago, they just voted your ass up. And he gotta look around. He gotta look around and see. You motherfuckers. He mad as hell, man. We got some comments here in the chat, man. My man GS28 says it's nothing but a bunch of active shooters, incels, and femcels. Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong, Fram. You're not wrong. And he said 1500s. Okay, yeah. When he started talking about him being a Native American, that was fucking retarded. That was stupid. But yeah, man. They voted his ass out. What the fuck why isn't it not? So I wasn't trying to do that. I'm trying to play it and pause it, and it keeps rewinding all the way back to.
Are you pro-financial crime? Do you pro-financial crime?
Do you know who Thomas
pause.
Timbo is?
Pause.
I think the people who clapped you have voted you out.
All right. Head back to your seat. You've been voted out by the majority.
Nice to meet you.
Okay, so there's another individual that I kind of want to highlight here. Again, we're not going to watch this entire thing. We're just going to highlight a few of the the people that Medhi Hasan, some of the more extreme people that Medhi Hasan found himself in a quote unquote debate with. And this next one is, this is the guy who went super duper viral. A guy named Connor. This is probably, if you haven't been familiar with Surrounded, you've probably seen this guy all over social media this last week. But this is Connor, and we're going to talk about Connor here. So let me. And the claim that Medhi Hasan is putting up right now is Donald Trump is defying the Constitution. That is the claim that Medhi is putting forth, and this is what brings about this next debate. So here we go.
Constitution.
Nice to meet you. Pleasure to meet you, sir.
Medhi, lovely to meet you.
So I would say that with Trump being anti-Constitution, I don't really care, to be quite frankly.
Okay.
Because in regards to the Constitution is a document.
Also, with this guy, I want y'all to take note, right? He has a tick. This guy has a tick. You're going to hear the phrase, quite frankly, quite a lot with this guy speaking. Just know that off top, you're going to hear, quite frankly, quite a bit.
That should seek to serve us. Yes. And when it fails to seek to serve us, that can be amended. Laws can be changed. And quite frankly, the fact is, we're defending things in this country that shouldn't be defended. The First Amendment should not defend pornography and making children and women be victimized, making women and children be victimized as a result of that.
Now, here's the thing, right? A lot of Republicans, a lot of conservatives promote themselves as being pro-Constitution. They carry the Constitution in their pocket sometimes to say, "Hey, I'm a constitutional originalist. I am about the original meaning of the Constitution, and I am, I want to follow the Constitution in the ways that the founding fathers envisioned the Constitution and all these things, right?" But they're only into the Constitution so much as it is convenient for them. Right. And in the ways in which the Constitution is not convenient for them, they want to do away with the Constitution, which isn't very American, but they promote themselves as being the most American motherfuckers on the face of this planet. I need y'all to be mindful of this shit as they talk about this stuff.
I think things like blasphemy shouldn't be allowed per the First Amendment. I think that, quite frankly, there are a lot of legal.
That's not very First Amendment, but okay.
Processes that are enabling criminals and bad people to fully enact their will in this country in the name of the Constitution or following the Constitution. So quite frankly, if Trump is anti-Constitution, good. And I think he should go further.
So this is wonderfully.
Meanwhile, the last guy in the green shirt who calls himself a Native American, despite the fact that his ancestors are not native to this land, is fucking ecstatic. He's like, yeah, fucking yeah. He's over there pumping his fucking fist and tapping his knees and shit. He's fucking ecstatic.
Revealing of the modern conservative mindset. So I appreciate you spelling it out so openly. Just checking, do you support the Second Amendment?
I do.
Okay. Surprise. I was shocked to hear that. I'm saying that Donald Trump is defying the First Amendment, the Fourth Amendment, the Fifth Amendment, the 14th Amendment. He's thinking of defying the 12th and 22nd Amendments. You're saying you don't care about the Constitution, but actually you do because you quite like the Second Amendment. You just don't like the bits that you disagree with. Can I just be clear on that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I'm more than willing to amend it and include
whenever
the
it's in
Second
your
Amendment.
favor.
Yeah, absolutely.
So can Democrats do the same when they're in office?
No, absolutely not. Because
so you don't
it's
believe in democracy?
Enemy. No, I don't. Absolutely not.
What do you believe in?
Autocracy.
Now, if you see the look on this fucking guy's face, right now, I got to pause right now to Medhi, but if you saw the look on this dude's face, the amount of fucking giddiness on his face to announce himself as an autocratist, right? He's like, yo, I'm for autocracy, right? He's so fucking excited to announce this shit to the world. He's damn about to come in his pants, fam. He's damn about to come in his pants. He's so excited for this opportunity to be able to express this shit to the world that he's an autocratist, right? And I want people who thought that voting for Donald Trump, who thought that the second round of this shit was a good idea, who thought that Project 2025 was just some shit that they didn't mean anything. These are the type of people that it animates, right? He says that Donald Trump isn't far enough right for him. But these are the type of people that it animates. So, again, when I cut motherfuckers off in my life that also think that Donald Trump was a good fucking idea, this is the type of shit that I'm talking about. These are the type of motherfuckers that y'all have aligned yourselves with. And I don't align with shit like this. Fuck you and fuck him. Right? He's letting you know he don't fuck with us. But y'all seem to think that this is all a game, that both sides of the same coin, yada, yada, yada. Tell me you don't know shit about politics without telling me you don't know shit about politics, man. Right?
By who?
Honestly, quite frankly, anyone who is in line with Catholic teaching.
Donald Trump is not Catholic.
Of course, he's not. I completely agree, and that's part of the problem.
You don't support Trump?
No, I don't. I didn't even vote for him. I wrote in like John Pork or someone. I can't even remember.
Why did you vote if you don't believe in democracy and you want autocracy?
Well, because quite frankly, I voted. I kind of voted just to.
Again, this dude in the quite frankly thing is fucking fascinating. It's a tick, man. He keeps saying quite frankly. I don't get where the fuck it comes from, but quite frankly, it's just like just his thing, man. I guess it's like when I say real talk, you know what I'm saying?
Came with this argument, but I'm bored of my own argument. I'm much more interested in this. So
yeah, absolutely.
How do we get to an autocracy?
Absolutely.
I think quite frankly that if we are able to enact local leaders.
Who is the we, by the way?
I think quite frankly these far right conservatives sitting right around
white
me.
people?
Yeah,
no
absolutely.
So,
well, actually, I have quite.
Some of the people in this room don't make the cut from what I can see visually.
Actually, hold on for a moment. I do think that there are people who happen to not be white who do actually have history in this country and have roots in this country. For instance, from the Mexican-American War, we subsumed a lot of territory of people who have far stakes in this country who happen to be Hispanic or what have you. I'm for defending the traditional demographics of this country, which is majority white, and should stay that way.
How does the United States...
Hold on a second. Because what he just admitted right there is something I've been telling y'all on this microphone for a while. That a lot of this shit are the death throes of white people feeling the shifts of the demographics of this nation shifting and becoming afraid of it, right? The white people understand that they are scheduled to become a minority in this country by the year 2045, right? So if they're scheduled to become a minority in this country, what they're doing is, especially with this right wing, with this particular right wing government, what they're trying to do is they're trying to extend their place as the majority demographic in this nation. White women are not having the same amount of babies that they used to have in the 50s and 60s. White women are going to college. White women are in the workplace. They are trying to expel a lot of black and brown immigrants from this nation. This is why you have such a hard line against Hispanic immigrants and Haitian immigrants and things of that nature. They're trying to change the they're trying to reverse the demographic shifts that are happening in this nation. It is because they know that they are scheduled to become a minority in this nation, and they know what they've done to the minorities in this nation. They don't want what they did to the minorities in this nation. They don't want that to happen to them. They are deathly afraid of that. This is why we see more and more of this type of rhetoric coming out into the forefront. We're seeing it happen politically all the time now. The type of people that would vote for a Donald Trump, these are the types of folk. So he might not necessarily voted for Donald Trump because Donald Trump wasn't too, far enough right for him. However, Stephen Miller is very much on the same plane as this guy, and Stephen Miller is a senior advisor to Donald Trump. They don't want to become a minority in this nation. If you notice a lot, you're going to notice this over the course of this discussion. They're deathly afraid of white people. They're deathly afraid of white people becoming a minority in this nation. But also, they start talking about originalist ideals. They start talking about how they think about how the founding fathers really thought about America, despite the fact that we've amended that Constitution. because the Constitution wasn't a complete document. It was supposed to be a living document that grew with the nation as it grew older. They reject that. These types of motherfuckers, they reject that. And I need motherfuckers to be cognizant of that, of this ideal.
We've gone so off topic, but how does the United States look like under you? Sorry, what's your name?
My name is, my name's Connor. It's a pleasure to meet you.
He couldn't even tell this motherfucker his name. He was trying to protect some shit.
Took a little bit of a doubt there.
Oh, well, I use a pseudonym online,
fair enough,
but
Connor,
fair enough.
How would Connor's America look? What would it look like?
Well, quite frankly, I think we would deport people who shouldn't be here.
No, I didn't ask about deporting. What does the government look like?
What does the government look like?
Yeah.
I would say, quite frankly, it's under a sort of benevolent leader, such as
Where does he
Franco.
come from?
It could be a kind of aristocratic class. Could be someone
who picks the autocrat?
Frankly, the people. I mean, we could hold a vote on it. Kings were
isn't that democracy?
Well, sure. You can have a vote to get to that state.
And then no more votes afterwards?
Absolutely.
Wow.
100%.
Wow. And if that autocrat kills you and your family, you're fine with that?
Well, I'm not going to be a part of the group that he kills, because that's the whole thing.
Okay, here's another thing. We've talked about how a lot of the people who voted for Donald Trump didn't see themselves as victims of Donald Trump's government, right? You had a lot of Venezuelans, had a lot of Nicaraguans, had a lot of Cubans, had a lot of these folks who voted for Donald Trump and thought that their support of Donald Trump was going to inoculate them from them having any sort of persecution happening to them whatsoever. This guy believes in autocracy. He believes that the autocracy, so long as he is a supporter of said autocracy, that he will be protected from any sort of persecution from that autocracy that he supported. This is the type of thing that a lot of Trump supporters believe, that, hey, although I know Donald Trump is promoting some terrible shit, it's not going to affect me in any sort of way. He's promoting the same shit. He does not believe that it's going to happen to him. Many of the Trump supporters who voted for Donald Trump this second to go round did not believe that what Donald Trump was promoting was going to happen to them. And they're finding out in ways that they didn't necessarily want to find out, but they're fucking finding out. But this is the thought process that these folks have.
Carl Schmitt
autocrats tend to kill everyone,
Carl
even their own
Schmitt
supporters.
makes this point very well in his work. It's the friend-enemy distinction, right?
Carl Schmitt, the Nazi theoretician.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't care.
Are you a fan of the Nazis?
I frankly don't care being called a Nazi at all.
I didn't say that. I didn't actually say that. I said, are you a fan?
So I saw a red flag go up behind his head when they started talking about it. When he called him like Nazi, and he started talking about, I don't care about being called a Nazi. Medhi Hasan didn't call this guy a Nazi. He didn't. But he's salivating at the thought of being called a Nazi, right? He's salivating at this thought.
Fan of the Nazis.
Well, they persecuted the church a little bit. I'm not a fan of that. But
what about the persecution of the Jews?
Well, I mean, I certainly don't support anyone's human dignity being assaulted. I'm a Catholic.
But you don't condemn Nazi persecution of the Jews?
Okay, check this white lady out right here, right now, right? At this moment, right now, because I don't believe this lady ever got a chance to talk to Medhi Hasan in this particular episode, right? I've watched this entire episode already. I don't think she ever got a chance to get up to the table. But at this moment, she's looking like, what the fuck? Nigga. Like, the look on her face right now is like, yo, I thought I was far right, but fuck. Who the fuck is this guy? Right? And that's the thing. There are people who latch on to these ideas not knowing who they're latching on to these ideas with. And so now she's looking around like, whoa. Who the fuck am I really aligning myself with? She got a real unsure look on her face. Who am I really out here lining myself up with? I mean, I may be fucked up. I didn't know I was this fucked up. That's the look on her face right now. Like, yo, this guy, right? Crazy, man, crazy.
I think that there was a little bit of persecution and stuff like that, which is bad.
And this dude called the Jew, like the Holocaust. This dude called that shit a little persecution. Just a little persecution. Just a little tiny little bit. The fuck?
this show
but-
because you're a little bit more than a far-right Republican.
Hey, what can I say?
This look on his face. Again, he's about to come in his pants. He's about to come in his, hey, what can I say? He's waiting for someone to call him something. And this is like the thing, because again, he's been having these conversations with people who agree with him online all the time. This was his opportunity to, espouse these views publicly, but also to espouse these views publicly with someone he vehemently disagrees with. This was like a coming out party for him. He was excited for this shit. It's all over his face. He's fucking excited. He's coming in his pants, bro. It's weird.
I think you could say I'm a fascist.
Yeah, I am.
And that goofy ass fucking laugh. That goofy ass fucking laugh, bro. He couldn't wait for Medhi Hasan to call him a fascist. Right? Because they've surrounded themselves in this cocoon in this circle jerk of, also fascist. And now it's like, oh my God, I get to be a fascist in front of someone who isn't a fascist. Oh my fucking God. Right? And then there are people clapping. You got the guy in the pink shirt clapping. You got the guy in the green shirt clapping. I want to see who else is clapping about this shit. There's another guy in a black t-shirt clapping here. And there's a few, there's another guy here. I want to say he's got a pink button down clapping. There's a few of them clapping. Not everyone's clapping, but there's a few of them. And I imagine that some of those folks who are in the circle like, then you got the guy. I remember this guy, the gay guy in the green shirt with the glasses. He was one of the people who had some of the dumbest fucking comments when he was on here previously with Sam Cedar. He's clapping as well, so I guess he's a fascist too. But yeah, man, a lot of the you'll notice some of these folks who are in the circle like, yo, man, I don't know, man, I don't know if I'm really rocking with these motherfuckers. Even this was a bit much for them.
Absolutely.
I'm just checking who's clapping just to get my set of where everyone is on this. Because you know that millions of people are going to be watching you on YouTube and checking out who the fascists and the Nazis are.
I'm not ashamed of that whatsoever.
No, clearly you're not.
Yeah, my man Jay Fools in the chat. He says, motherfucker said the Holocaust was a pinch of persecution. He fucking did, man. He really fucking did. Like, I mean, they persecuted them a little bit. Like, nigga, they killed 6 million of them. Like, come on, bro. Like, what are you talking about? Like, but again, like, and he looks like a young guy, man. And this is the part of the thing where, like, there was a time where people looked at the youth and thought that the youth would be a little bit more liberal, a little bit more progressive, a little bit more open-minded about things. What they didn't account for, and I really kind of want to like go back into COVID and that time where a lot of these people, I believe COVID was a time where a lot of these folks were radicalized, man, where they didn't have the time to go out and be amongst other people. They found themselves on online communities that they probably wouldn't have been on regularly, but they had all the fucking time in the world. And it allowed for a lot of these types of wild, crazy, unhinged fucking ideals to permeate with a lot of young, especially young white dudes. And he looks like, he doesn't look like he's older than like 23, 24 years old. So that means like, he was, prime fucking real estate in the mind. His mind was prime real estate for extremists. And the fact that he's so amped to come out and say, "Hey, I believe in autocracy," and he's spouting out the names of pro-Nazi propagandists and things of that nature, man. It's like, yo, man, like this is who folks have aligned themselves with. So it's sad, man. It's really fucking sad.
Pre-war period, prior to World War II, it was only those parties that properly enacted the people's will. That's why they won. The conservatives were fat cats. They were aristocrats. They didn't care.
Are you in favor of killing people who aren't like you?
Quite frankly, I'm not. If
You mentioned
they-
Franco earlier. Franco killed a lot of innocent people.
Oh, well, he killed communists. He killed people who raped nuns and killed priests.
What about children who he killed and women who he killed?
What are you talking about? He never killed any women or children. He was Catholic.
He only
dude.
killed combatants. Is that what you're
Yeah,
claiming?
he only killed combatants.
Never killed any innocent people.
The white terror was only punishing those people who did acts of terrorism. And again, are you supporting like raping innocent women? Nuns, dude. Killing priests? I mean, priests don't brandish guns and kill
You
people.
just refuse to condemn the Nazi Holocaust, my friend. I don't think you're in a position to ask anyone any questions.
I quite frankly don't care what you think about me. If I'm a Nazi and being
He doesn't care what you think about him. Now, I should, because I'm going to cut this particular debate short, but this particular guy here ended up getting fired from his job. Like they let his ass go.
There'll be a monkey's bare-assed uncle.
Yeah, man, they let his ass go. I forget exactly. I don't know exactly where he worked, but after this came out, his place of employment, separated their relationship from him. And what he did was he set up an account on Give, Send, Go, which is the same place where the racist white lady who called the little autistic young black 5-year-old a nigger. He set up a Give, Send, Go account there and talked about how he was fired for having traditional right-wing views. And I believe he said he needed an emergency fund while he looks for another job. And he set the goal up at like $25,000. And he was actually able to reach that motherfucking goal. Oh, shit.
God damn!
Yeah. So he became the victim because the company that he was with after this came out didn't no longer wanted to associate it with his autocratistic ass. Right? The fact that he was a Nazi apologist. He didn't care if he was associated or called a Nazi. Like somehow, some way, he became a victim, right? Which is ironic. Because the one thing that the right wing always says is that, like, yo, man, the left always portrays you guys as victims. And for whatever reason, when they come out and they say this stupid, silly shit, somehow they become the victim. Like, hey, man, yeah, I'm a racist piece of shit, but I should be able to keep my job while also being a racist piece of shit. And yeah, my black coworkers may feel uncomfortable working around me, but fuck them. And my black and brown coworkers may feel uncomfortable working around me, and it is weird around the office, but fuck them. I should be able to keep my job because I'm a white man in America. Right? The entitlement. Meanwhile, they want to get rid of entitlements for other folk. It's fucking wild, man. It is fucking wild. So I'm gonna cut this one short because Medhi Hasan, after my man, essentially called himself a fascist. Medhi was like, I don't debate fascists. And like, get the fuck out of here, man. So this guy never comes back up to the table. All right. So we got another guy that I kind of want to highlight here. Not this dude, but this guy here. This is one guy who's like a constitutional originalist, and he talks about how we should keep the Constitution in the ways in which the founding fathers found the Constitution. The founding fathers, while they were signing the Constitution, also had slaves. So, take that for what it's worth. But there's this other guy I want to highlight here. Let me kind of scrub here. Not this chick. This chick, I believe she's the one who had like immigrant parents, but she didn't see Medhi Hasan's immigration as being a legitimate American. It's kind of wild. Let's see. Scrub. No, it's this chick. I'm sorry. Not that chick, the last one. But this one here. She is where. Okay, yeah. Pink shirt here. He's chomping at the motherfucking bit. Yeah. Pink shirt is chomping at the bit. So yeah. I forget what exactly is the prompt here. The prompt here is immigrants overall are good for America. Okay, this is Medhi Hasan's argument, and this is the basis for which they're going to be arguing about. And Pink shirt can't wait to get his ass up to the table. He's chomping at the bit. Let's see what happens.
He said that the immigration surge that you mentioned will lead to an extra $9 trillion of GDP over the next 10 years. That amounts to $65,000 per American household. That's $65,000 for each and every one of you holding up a red flag.
Okay, I understand. All right, that, pause. You've been voted out by the majority. Please return to your seat.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thank you.
chomping at the bit, man.
Hey, how's it going? I'm Medhi.
What's going on, man? Nice to meet you. All right, so first, before I start, I need to know what you mean by good. I can talk about the economy, I can talk about culture, I can talk about all those things. I need.
Also, Buddy seems like he's got a lot of caffeine in his system right now. He's talking really fucking fast, man. He's like, yo, so what do you mean by good, man? Because I can talk about the economy, I can talk about like, hey, calm the fuck down, bro.
All of them.
What you mean.
All of them.
All of them.
I'm saying immigrants are good for the economy. They're good for
You think
culture.
lower wages are
They're
good for
good
the
for
economy?
society. Where's the lower wages?
What do you mean, where's the lower wages?
Where are the lower wages?
Yeah, so you can
What's
look
the
at the
basis for saying there are lower wages?
Sure, so you can look at like the STEM industry. It's been in like a complete and total recession. There's been tons of studies like from the Economic Policy Institute that shows that like companies like Tesla, companies from like Silicon Valley, they engaged in mass firing of workers, around 35,000, but then they hired around 12,000 H-1B visas. And it's kind of just standard economic thinking.
It's not standard economic thinking. The vast majority of economists and economic studies suggest that there is a negligible, if no impact on wages over time from immigrants. In fact, your colleague mentioned earlier, construction, there is actually evidence in construction, yes. But in some industries, in some areas, there is an impact. But overall, no. In fact, a study from the National Bureau of Economic Research found that migrants since 1965 have raised wages and raised innovation.
Who's that by?
National Bureau for Economic Research.
No, hold on. That's where you publish studies. I'm asking
yes,
for
I didn't memorize the names of the authors.
Yeah, I know you didn't, right?
Can you give me the authors you've got?
Yeah, hold on. The study you're talking about is from Giovanni Perry, and what he did is he didn't account for aggregation issues, nor did he...
The vast majority of studies...
Let me speak.
Please.
Yeah, thank you, right? So listen, he didn't account for aggregation issues, right? And when you look at like the spatial approach, which is what all these economists use, you're not accounting for the fact that when immigrants come into an area, natives leave. If you look at an occupational approach where you look at the specific firms that immigration is going into, like Kim, ETAL 2013 did, you find a net negative impact when there's a 10% increase of immigration. You find around a 0.5% decline in wages when it comes to the specific occupations they're going to.
So
all your studies are flawed.
So 0.5%.
Oh, your
weigh that up
studies are
against what
flawed.
I just mentioned from the Congressional Budget Office, which is a massive boost in GDP per head, which you're not counting for. Massive increase in tax revenue. Immigrants actually funding the deficits and debts by paying way more in taxes proportionately, including undocumented immigrants. And what's interesting about wages is I'm in a room full of, I don't know what to call you anymore, conservatives, Republicans, fascists, I don't know. One of you has proudly said that.
Call us correct.
One of us proudly. Oh yeah, correct. I'm in a room full of correct people, but do any of you actually care about wages? Because for example,
I actually do.
For example, do you support raising the minimum wage?
Absolutely, and you can't do that when you're bringing all these people coming into
That's not the reason the Republican Party blocks the minimum wage. You think Republican politicians don't vote for an increase in minimum wage because they're worried about immigration?
Did I say I voted Republican? Did I say I voted Republican?
Well, I'm on a show that was called 25 Far-Right Republicans.
That doesn't mean I'm going to support every single Republican candidate.
So you and I, So you and I, let's agree. We both support raising the minimum wage. Yes,
100%.
$7.25 since 2009. It's lost 30% of its value. If you care about wages, we should be raising the minimum wage in this country, not scapegoating migrants who aren't the cause of low wages in the country. You know who's causing low wages? Billionaires, millionaires, and people who won't pay fair wages to their wages, regardless of whether you are an immigrant or a native.
I get the monologue, right? Now let me respond.
You had one.
Now here's the thing, right? Medhi at this particular moment is talking about how, like, again, millionaires and billionaires kind of like scapegoat the immigrants and make people of middle class, of the lower class, believe that migrants are the cause for them not being able to raise the wages. Meanwhile, the rich folks in this nation, the elite in this nation hoard all of the motherfucking resources, right? And I've seen this happen on many different occasions, man. We've talked about this, especially like last year, man. I remember there was that story, that viral story that went across all of fucking social media where people were like, yo, man, this Venezuelan lady was in the grocery store and she had like $10,000 of food stamps on her motherfucking, on her bridge card, man. And like they, I can't get no help and all this other stuff, right? And it was a way in which, they could weaponize any sort of public assistance being given to migrants. And, for anybody who were in a, less advantageous position, to make them have a little bit of hatred for those folks, right? Because that should be going to me. I should be getting that sort of assistance. They don't give me that shit, right? Meanwhile, the people who are so quote unquote the employers, the job creators and things of that nature, when it comes to raising your motherfucking minimum wage, they're lobbying against you being able to get more pay for the type of work that you're doing, right? So like, and it would be weird, like when I would be at work, and I'm arguing, we make pretty decent money at my job, man. Like none of us are really hurting for a whole lot of money, man. Like everyone I work with makes six figures, right? We work in construction, but we make six figures, man. And it would be weird to listen to motherfuckers who make six figures talk about how nobody at McDonald's should be able to make $20 an hour. It's like, nigga, you make more than they do right now. What are you bitching about? Well, the cost of the hamburger gonna go up. Nigga, the cost of the hamburger been going up any fucking way. It's always been going up. Nigga, the Big Mac don't cost the same amount right now that it cost 5 years ago. You paying more for that Big Mac right now when they still ain't raised the minimum wage to $20. So what the fuck are you talking about? And so this is the way in which the rich kind of pit those who have some like menial means against those who have like the least amount of means. And so even right now, this guy isn't a billionaire, but he identifies with billionaires. He has no fucking clue why. All he knows is brown people are keeping my wages low. No, motherfucker, the billionaires are keeping your wages low. That's who. They got you pointed at the wrong fucking direction, man.
With your one study that had a 0.5% impact. Go.
Yeah, and your study sucked that you didn't even know who wrote it, right? So let's get back to the point, right?
Because I don't need
and
to
there
know
it
one
goes
study.
again. The
majority of studies say that wages are not impacted
The
by
majority of your
migration over
studies
time.
are flawed. That's what I'm telling
Not my
you.
studies.
Right.
Neither of us are economists. It's the economist studies.
Don't assume who I am.
Are you an economist?
I could be.
But
right?
are you?
I could be.
Are you?
I'm not going to tell you.
Are you?
I'm going to major in economics, right?
Are you an economist?
No, not right now.
Okay, so when I said neither is economist, I was correct.
Just don't assume.
To use your favorite word.
See here, dude, this is nothing of substance. You look at the red flags; they're coming up. Let me get to the point.
Great, but
so
you're
when
not
you
an
talk about
economist.
when you talk about the CBO, one thing you're not accounting for here is that they're assuming an equilibrium, right? Do you know what that means? You shouldn't make these type of assumptions. You said earlier that unemployment.
Do I
was
know
like
what it means? I thought we're not doing assumptions.
Okay, hold on. You mentioned we were at 4.2% unemployment. Yeah, that's counting people who have part-time jobs. That's counting poverty
That's how it's
wages.
always been counted.
Yeah,
I'm against poverty wages.
You
Can we
won't let
agree
me
again?
Yes. If you go to the Lookwood Institute, they calculated a way where it's functional unemployment. Okay. If you account for things like just people who make around $25,000 a year, people who have fallen out of the labor market, people who only work part time, if you count all of those people together and then add on the unemployment, that's around 25% of the population. So when you go, we don't have jobs, we don't have people to do this, and that, and the other. No, yes, we do. Okay, we don't have a labor shortage. We have a good job shortage. And when you keep bringing these people in, and they're taking those jobs.
The good job shortage is the fault of big firms, employers. I'm an employer. I can say that.
Who hires the immigrants?
Who hires the immigrants?
Yeah.
Employers.
Exactly. So when you bring up these big firms,
okay, so
that's the
let me
way
ask
they keep wages down. You understand that, right?
So let me ask you.
So that's another part that I think is very wild, right? So the immigrants are lazy. They're taking up resources. They're taking up the resources that we should be able to get. Like they're taking up all this public assistance and things of that nature. But also, they're taking up all the jobs that we should be able to get that pay good money. Like, which one is it? Is it Uchi Wally or is it motherfucking One Mike, bruh? Are they lazy, or are they lazy and not worthy of the fucking work that they're taking, or are they taking the jobs that we should be able to get, but they're lazy? Which one is it? Like, it doesn't make fucking sense, man.
Question: if you got rid of all immigrants coming in tomorrow, moratorium, you think that Republicans and employers of big firms would suddenly raise all the wages?
You notice
That's
how
what
you
you
didn't
believe.
answer what I said. You
That's
notice
what
how
you believe.
It was a complete. Are your ankles
That's what
all
you
right?
believe.
You pivoted the hell
That's what
away
you
from the
believe.
conversation.
Is that what you? I'm on
Are
the
your ankles
subject.
okay?
Do you believe that wages? I'm just wondering how naive you are. You believe that the 1% will raise wages in the federal wage
They will
if
be
we
forced
stop
to.
immigration?
They will be forced to. When you increase labor's relationship to capital, okay, and you give labor more bargaining power because you're tightening the supply of labor.
This is a very simplistic understanding of economics because you're
Okay,
not,
explain I'm wrong.
I'm telling you how you're wrong. Because you're ignoring the fact that when immigrants come into an area, they spend money. They create jobs through their presence.
About 1/5 of their monthly income leaves the country.
That's a good thing also because you don't like US aid, foreign aid. So this is the point. They create jobs. I came into this country. So far, every one of my assumptions about you has been correct. But listen to me.
He's really, here's another thing too, right? So Buddy is really sensitive to the idea of anyone assuming anything about him. It's just weird because he has absolutely no compunction about assuming everything about everybody else. It's so fucking weird, man.
I am an immigrant. I'm speaking from personal experience.
Get the hell out.
I don't even like. I should get the hell out.
Yes.
Why?
I don't want you here.
Why?
Because you come here and say all this bullshit
Why?
about how Americans are lazy.
Why?
You push your left-wing
I never
politics.
said Americans are lazy.
I don't know why you say this.
I never said Americans are lazy.
Yes, you are.
The only person
You're saying
attacking
immigrants
people
have to
is
come
you.
into this country so they can do jobs that we don't want to do. That's
I never said
exactly
those
what you
words.
said.
When did I say?
Okay, so we've been listening to this debate. Medhi Hasan never said any of this stuff. This is how you know this guy only talks on the internet. This is how you know he only talks to people on the internet. This is like he has to create an argument that wasn't a fucking argument that they were having. So now he knows he's already cooked in this debate. So now he has to come up with this straw man that Medhi had never argued. Medhi never said that Americans are too lazy to work these jobs, right? All he said was like, hey, immigrants are good for the American economy. And these are the reasons why. And this guy, because he's so used to arguing online, has to create a straw man argument to even present here because he's already cooked. So now he's just making shit up. He's making shit up, man.
Oh, really?
When did I say it? It's
So
on
why don't we-
YouTube. Guys watching on YouTube, rewind to the time where I said immigrants are doing jobs we don't want to do.
He looks very fucking pathetic right now. Like the look on his face knows. Like you could tell on his face, he's like, ah, fuck. You know what I'm saying? I'm cooked. I see the flags going up around me. They about to get me the fuck up out of this table. I'm cooked.
When did I say those words? Words
You
that
said-
came out of my mouth.
Okay, so why do we have to bring in immigrants? Why do we have to bring in immigrants to the
All right,
country if we have
pause.
people who are going to do the jobs?
Okay, so check this out, man. I'm going to take a little bit of a break because I got to refresh my drinks, man. But I'm going to be right fucking back. So I'm going to put this little counter up. I'm not going to be gone for 10 minutes. Trust me, guys. I'm not going to be gone. I'll be probably gone for less than fucking 2 minutes. But I'm going to put this up and we'll be right back, man. All right, and we're back. See, I told you I wasn't going to be that long. But yeah, man. So let's get back to it.
Pause. You've been voted out.
Okay, yeah. So, oh, yeah, I need to play this part.
Nice talking to you.
Nice talking to you.
You're going to have to go, bro.
Nice talking to you.
He says as he walks away, you're going to have to go, bro. Now, mind you, Medhi Hasan is a naturalized American citizen. He is a business owner. He employs people. And this is, and this guy believes that Medhi Hasan has to go. And it isn't because Medhi Hasan isn't like a decent American. It's simply because he doesn't believe that, you know, we should have more black and brown people of color living in this nation, man. That's just the thought process. He was already like kind of championing the idea that America needs to be back to its original demographic, which was white folks, you know, mostly white men.
You're going to have to go, bro, is what he said as I left, to an American citizen. Good to know where you stand on immigration. It's not about immigration, is it? That's what it's not about.
Okay, so let's move on to another one. Oh, is this? Nah, this isn't the one. But we got this spy versus spy guy. We're gonna talk to him later, or talk about him later. But let's see what else we got here. Not her. She wasn't really compelling. Oh yeah, green shirt came back. You know, green shirt came back. So let's see what green shirt has to say going forward here.
Donald Trump should not be deciding what happens to Gaza. That's my claim. If you agree with me,
So
great, let's shake hands, give the seat to someone who disagrees with me.
Do you think that America should just cut ties with Israel altogether?
What's your definition of cut ties?
Like stop funding them,
Yes,
stop being their
yes,
military
yes,
arm?
Yes,
Okay,
I'm on
great.
record saying
Okay.
that. Okay. That was an easier debate. Whoa. Welcome back, Richie. You really want to be here?
First of all, I really thought that obviously where we started, where it ended up, there's a lot of aggression. I can see in your eyes there's a level of exhaustion from being here.
I would be exhausted too if I was surrounded by a bunch of dumb motherfuckers who talking a bunch of dumb shit, and I gotta stay here and talk to all of y'all for an extended length of time. I couldn't do it either. I applaud those of like the people like Medhi who thought that this was a good exercise, but at the same time, it's like this is part of the reason why I no longer entertain like these types of discussions on my show. Right. For those of you who remember back in the day when I used to do the Art of Disagreement with the guy, Mr. Gates, back in the day, man, from the Dark Hater show, from the Haterazzi radio show. One of the things that at a certain point, man, is like, yo, why are we debating this when I know that this is bullshit? Right. And like low key, I don't even know if you actually believe the shit that's coming out of your fucking mouth right now, because I've had those conversations with you. So, like at a certain point, it is no longer a beneficial thing to say, well, we just need to have the conversation. No, we don't need to have the conversation. I don't need to have a conversation with a motherfucker who's talking about some stuff that I know is fucking whack, that I know is bullshit, that I know is rooted in bullshit. I don't have to have those conversations. But ultimately what we end up doing on the internet, and, we all like, because we're on the internet and we're all content creators and we're all looking for eyeballs, unfortunately, we tend to like kind of dive into the lowest common denominator, which is platforming motherfuckers like this, right? So that's what's happening. Even right now with Jubilee, man, like they're platforming the lowest common denominator of discussion with people who would normally not necessarily associate with these types of folk.
This is where my empathy comes in. Where it doesn't is, when you have a room full of people that do agree with you, we have this opportunity to come together. And you're kind of mocking people when they do. So you mocked Sarah a little bit when you guys clearly had a common interest and goal to reach. So I can tell you're agitated. I want to bring that all down. Please.
I'm guessing you're not going to, but let's see.
No, I'm going to. I do want to point out some contradictions. First and foremost, I don't believe you're pro-American in the value system that you claim to uphold, especially with free speech, if you're not willing to debate people that don't share your values. That's very un-American.
Do you believe Donald Trump's plan for Gaza is ethnic cleansing?
I don't believe it's ethnic cleansing, because it's not his plan.
It is his plan. He said it's my plan.
No,
Benjamin Netanyahu called it his plan.
He is obeying someone else's plan.
Okay. Who is he obeying?
He is obeying Israel's plan for the Greater Israel Project, of which this is one of those things that we can agree on.
Why is he doing that?
Why is he doing that?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they have something on him. Maybe they have something on all Americans.
But you think it's a bad thing what he's doing?
Absolutely.
Okay,
yeah,
good.
no,
Glad
that's
to
why,
agree with you.
But see, I don't want to shut down
I'm
the
not mocking you,
conversation.
I'm agreeing with you.
Okay, perfect. But I want to take this opportunity, because I don't know if I'm going to get the opportunity again, to say, you're not American. First and foremost, but you're not.
Remember what I said? The agitation from you is not going to be lower.
What I'm.
So again, this argument was supposed to be about whether or not Donald Trump and his it said Donald Trump's plan for Gaza is ethnic cleansing. He goes right back into Medhi Hasan is an American. Right back into that shit. He can't even fucking stay on topic. He goes right back into the shit.
You came to lower the temperature and then make racist remarks? You know that's a racist remark,
It's not racist.
You tell an American citizen.
Perfect. You just proved your own point. You just said that was a racist position. Yes. Earlier, you argued this contention that America has no race. It's a bunch of immigrants that culminate together.
Into America has no race.
You inferred it. You absolutely did. Okay. So now you're saying it's racist for me to take an American nationalist approach. You're kind of
an American national approach? Is that a white approach?
I think it's a white nativist approach. Of course,
so only Americans are white people.
Why did your parents immigrate
from India?
Only
white people.
Why did your parents immigrate from India to the UK?
Because the UK colonized and conquered India.
Okay, why did you immigrate to America?
Because many reasons.
Okay, all opportunity. There's opportunity.
That's not true. You don't know.
The accent. Your accent is an affect of white Anglo-Saxon.
But there are 50 million Americans in this country.
I understand, but
none of them are Americans in your view.
What I'm trying to get you to do to reach a common ground here.
We're not going to reach a common ground because you said I'm not American.
Please try.
I don't think you're American.
I'm saying you're not.
I don't think you're American.
I'm saying you're not American due to values.
I don't think you're not American on values either. I think you're a little fascisty, a little racisty.
See, you're using these words. Okay, first of all, I want to say this.
I mean, I'm not just throwing them at you.
For
You didn't come sit down and I said
for
it.
every conservative that has ever been shut down by leftists like you, for every conservative, for
You're
every
not a conservative. You've already said
for
you're not-
every
you-
right
you've
wing,
already said you're not
for
a
every
conservative.
Stefan Molyneux,
Oh,
Thomas
more white,
Sowell,
okay.
Nick Fuentes, all of those people.
Is
that
Thomas
people
Sowell
like-
American?
He's Australian, but that's.
I didn't know Thomas Sowell was Australian. I've always known him to be like a coon ass motherfucker, but I've never known him to be Australian. I didn't know he was not American. But like a lot of right wing white folks really hold up Thomas Sowell because again, when it comes to conservatism and right wing circles, they will hold up Thomas Sowell as the epitome of black right wing thought, right? And so the fact that this guy is promoting someone like Thomas Sowell is like, well, shit, if this guy agrees with Thomas Sowell, I know motherfucking well Thomas Sowell don't really mean good for me.
I'm saying people that are on our side of the aisle that get shut down by people like you because you're leveraging this position of emotion.
You're joking, right?
No, I'm not. You're leveraging
Do you know
the
nobody on
position of
quote unquote
emotion.
my side of the aisle is trying to deport you? The only shutting
Actually,
down
yes,
is being
they're
done by
trying to.
you.
They're actually
The only
trying to
shutting down is being
genocide my
done by
entire
you.
race. So what are you talking
Wow.
about? What
You're
are
a
you
white-
talking about?
You're a white
What are you-
genocide guy?
Are you kidding me?
Wow.
You know the fact you're
I'm
Indian.
amazed.
Yeah, so yeah, white genocide. Like these people believe again, I've said this on this show many times. A lot of these people are deathly afraid of becoming a minority in America. I've said this on this show. They're saying it to you right now. They're not saying it explicitly, but they're telling you exactly what I've been telling you.
Did Jubilee find some of you guys? How did they find you?
Do you see
Did
what
they
you're
email
doing?
you? Do you have Gmail?
Why are you trying to oust me? This
Do you
is
shop
such a
at
cheap
Costco?
tactic.
Do you go to Nordstrom?
No,
All
I'm
immigrants.
trying
Have you
to-
ever been on eBay?
No, but
Immigrants.
I'm
You love
agree-
immigrants.
No, I'm agree-
You love immigrants when they're helping you.
I'm
You just
not-
don't like the color of
it's
my
not
skin.
we're having a different
All right,
conversation.
pause.
White genocide.
We're having a different
Pause.
conversation.
All right, you've been voted out. Please return to your seat.
Okay.
They had to get him the fuck up out of there. Like, shit. See, that this is the thing, right? He starts talking that white genocide shit, them flags start going up. They're like, shit, and more, like, again, some of these people who are in this circle, I don't think that they knew that they were surrounded by some of these other motherfuckers who were a little bit more right wing than them, and they're like, oh shit. Oh shit.
I really wish we could have got some.
I mean, you believe in white genocide, so it's very hard to.
Nah, not this guy. I want to, not this guy. I want the spy versus spy guy to come back to come up because he was there before, but because they voted this guy off pretty fucking quickly. So let me go ahead and fast forward this a little bit, and let's see with the spy versus spy guy.
I'm pretty sure Israel used to have that land.
I'm pretty sure you're
in
wrong.
the 1900s.
They
Yes,
withdrew
they did.
from 2005 from the land, but control
Yeah,
the
and then
air.
gave it to them in 2005.
No, they don't give it to them. They control the air,
give them-
the sea space, the borders, the population registry. They controlled what went in and out. It was a prison, an open air prison. That's not giving
But
them
don't they have
freedom.
a border with Egypt and then the Mediterranean
Yes,
Sea?
and the
So how's that
Israelis
a
and
prison?
Egyptians work together because Donald Trump and Joe
And
Biden
the
and Barack
Egyptians that are
Obama.
Hey.
Yes, they're funded by the United States.
My man GS28 says spy versus spy. He laughing his fucking ass off. But when buddies show up on the fucking screen, y'all gonna know exactly what I mean, man. Y'all gonna know exactly what I fucking mean.
States. Did you know that Muslim countries do bad things too?
No, I know that they do bad things.
Okay, then, so we're in agreement.
All right,
Yes.
pause. You've been voted out. Please return to your seat.
Nice to meet you.
Oh, wow. Great.
Hello, sir. Welcome back.
See you again, Medhi. All right, so I agree that Trump
This
wants
is
to
the
do a
guy.
cleansing, but not an ethnic one, because that area requires a
Like, look at this guy. What the fuck is going on here, man? I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I know this is ad hominem and all that other stuff, man. But what the fuck is going on here, bro? He got on a fucking, let's see, it looks like an Iranian flag pin, and then he's got like an American flag pin with a "Don't Tread on Me" shit with the like stars and stripes tied. He's got like this fucking fedora on. He's got this. Oh my god, he's got the windy fucking mustache at the end, bro. Like, come the fuck on, man. He looks like a goddamn cartoon character. He looks like Spy versus Spy. He looked like he might be in a character in an episode of Darkwing Duck. Like, my man is in full on supervillain mode right now. Real talk. Real talk.
lot of cleansing. Because when you have a population that was taught,
but he's also saying that Donald Trump isn't trying to do an ethnic cleansing in Gaza. So there's that.
from early childhood age to hate Jews, Christians, and pagans, you need some serious re-education.
Number one, that's not true. And number two, that's not what he's proposing.
Well, I mean, most Palestinians, by a polling number.
And off top, the white guy, the one of the ethnic cleansing guys, the ones that doesn't like brown people, black people, and all of that, he's already got the red flag. I'll be like, get this guy the fuck up out of here.
Do support Hamas.
They support resisting Israel.
Well, I mean, the thing is, what did they do in the first place that they're in this, what you call open air prison?
Great question. What did they do to deserve being occupied?
Well, here's the thing, because the Islamic Republic in Iran is using them as a tool.
What has Iran got to do with this?
As a tool for their Islamic expansion.
When did the Islamic...
Because
hold on. When did the Islamic Republic of Iran... You're Iranian American,
yes.
I believe.
Yes, I am.
When was the Islamic Republic of Iran founded?
1979.
When was Gaza occupied by Israel?
1948,
I believe.
Well, the very
67.
first time. 67, yes.
So, can we do the maths together? 12 years before the Islamic Republic of Iran existed, Israel was oppressing, occupying, dispossessing the people of Gaza. So your argument makes no sense.
Were there any terrorist organizations at the time?
The PLO was considered a terrorist organization by the entire Western world.
All right, so was Hamas there?
Hamas did not exist till the 1980s.
Exactly. My point is, after the Islamic Republic came, it became chaotic because the Islamic Republic started to use the so-called innocent Palestinians for their own
so-called innocent Palestinians? You don't think Palestinians are innocent?
Not all of them.
Because but what about the 17,000 children who were killed?
They're doing the
17,000 children were killed. Were they not innocent? Were they not innocent?
Who's responsible for that?
Israel, who dropped the bombs on
Hamas
them.
is responsible. Hamas is responsible for...
So here's the thing, right? And I want to be clear on this because I've been very critical of... I've been very critical of those here in America, especially those those Arab Americans here in America, especially in Dearborn, who voted for Donald Trump, supported Donald Trump, because they thought that Joe Biden was allowing for genocide to happen in Gaza, and refused to support Kamala Harris and never gave Kamala Harris a chance to chart her own path and chart her own policy in regards to how she was going to address Gaza. I've been very critical of that, right? The idea that, there's this thing in America. There's this idea in America that if you're critical of Israel, if you're especially critical of the Israeli government, that you are being anti-Semitic, right? That somehow, some way, you are against Jewish people because you don't necessarily agree with what the Israeli government is doing, which is bullshit. It's always been bullshit. It's like saying, like, yo, I'm an American citizen. I don't agree all the time with what the fuck the American government does all the fucking time. Like, and oftentimes my community is the victim of the American government and how the American government addresses my community. So, there's always a nuanced view there, right? But what happens is when we start talking in these silos, when we are in we're in a time now where our social media is siloed off, our media consumption is siloed off. We don't necessarily get all of the views, and so when we don't get all of the views, we are we find ourselves talking with very narrow lenses. Unfortunately, here you have an Iranian American who can't, for whatever the fuck reason, you know what? I know what it is. He's trying hard to make himself seem more American. He's trying hard to be accepted by those especially in the right wing, in those right wing circles. He's trying very hard to be accepted as an American. Unfortunately for him, many of the people that he's surrounded by would not like his ass to be there either. They want his ass gone too. And this is the part that I think this is the part where, like, when I was so critical of, Rashida Tlaib and a lot of the Arab American community here in the Detroit area, especially in Dearborn, who voted for fucking Donald Trump, because they're still eradicating Gaza. They're still killing kids in Gaza. And Donald Trump comes out and says, y'all didn't even give me a motherfucking thank you. Because they're trying so hard to be accepted as Americans, despite the fact that the people who they have aligned themselves with don't want to have anything to do with them. Anything to do with them. Even though this guy's got like this stars and striped tie, and he's got the American flag and the don't tread on me shit, and he's got his Iranian flag and all this. They don't give a fuck, bro. Even what you have in your motherfucking spy versus spy mustache, bro. You look like a goddamn Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego villain. They don't give a fuck, man. They don't want you here. And that's the sad part about all of this, man. It's a sad thing.
Hiding in hospitals and making tunnels underneath
so
those
when
hospitals.
children are shot in the head by Israeli snipers not responsible for that?
Look,
it's a simple question.
Here's the problem.
When Israeli snipers shoot Palestinian children in Gaza in the head, as eyewitness testimony and doctors' testimony proves, that's not the fault of the Israeli snipers.
This is the problem, because when you have a
problem is you won't answer the question. I'll ask you a third time. When Israeli snipers shoot Palestinian children in the head, is that not the fault of Israeli snipers?
Well, you gotta let me finish.
No, you gotta answer the question. Fourth time.
Well,
when Israeli snipers
shoot
Palestinian children in the head,
I will get to your
we're running
answer.
out of time. I need to know what you think about innocent children.
Because
what you said was pretty outrageous. You said so-called innocent Palestinians. For the fifth time, when Palestinian children are shot in the head by Israeli snipers, is that not the fault of Israeli snipers?
What did those children do?
What did they do? Tell me, did the children deserve to be shot in the head?
Because the problem is,
this motherfucker asks, what did the children fucking do? He really asked this. He asked that. He really fucking asked that. He really fucking asked that. Now, yes, is in the chat room. He says that's Father Guido Sarducci dude was out of pocket too. And he also says that's the guy called Father Guido from old school SNL. So like, I don't know who the fuck. I don't watch SNL a lot, bro. So I'm glad you like kind of clarified. But yeah, man, that's the guy called Father Guido from old school SNL. I never watched. I've never, outside of like Eddie Murphy, like old Eddie Murphy clips, and every now and again like what's my man name? The guy from fucking Kenan and Kel, Kenan Thompson. You know, outside of some of the clips with Kenan Thompson, man, I don't really watch a whole lot of SNL. He said, "Yup, he doesn't believe his own argument." You know what though? Like, he doesn't know. It's not that he doesn't believe his own argument. He doesn't have any fucking conviction. He is really trying to be seen as an American. He's trying to be accepted, and that's the thing. It's not that he doesn't believe it. He's trying to be accepted. He's an immigrant in a party where they have a very poor view of immigration and those who would come here, especially those who would come here, people of color who would come here. So that's what he's contending against. Like he's contending against the idea that he can be an American and be accepted as an American and have these conservative views. Meanwhile, a lot of the people that he's surrounded himself with don't really want to fuck with him either. So we got that going on.
You know, millions of people are watching you say
they start brainwashing children. They start brainwashing children at a very young age.
So you support sniping children in Gaza?
Look,
do other people here support sniping children in Gaza? Is that a conservative position now?
What if they're wearing a suicide vest?
They weren't.
But what if they are?
They're not, though.
Well, even now, he's trying to make excuses for killing kids. What if they were wearing suicide vests? Nigga, they wasn't. He's telling you they're sniping kids. A lot of these people are like suffering like hunger. They can't even get food into the Gaza Strip because Israel is blockading like any type of humanitarian aid coming there. He's trying so fucking hard to be accepted by these folks. And even now he's being written because even the motherfucker who called himself a fascist got a flag up like, nah, man, they should get them people the food. Even the fascists got a flag up. Make this shit make sense.
What if they are?
I have friends who went there. Doctors went to Gaza. American doctors. They came back as we had multiple children.
What if they're
hell bent?
What if they're hell bent on killing you and your family?
A 10-year-old child, an 8-year-old child, a 6-year-old child.
Because
this is
like
bad
you said,
for you.
Like you
You're
said,
sitting on
they're
live
brainwashing
television where millions of people are going to see your neighbors, your friends. You support the killing of children.
Millions of people don't know what's going on.
Even your fellow right-wingers are saying, don't go this far. White genocide, sure, but don't
Millions of
killing
people
kids.
don't understand the brainwashing that is going on in Islamic Republic and in Palestine to create
You're
this
obsessed
hatred.
with Iran so much that you're supporting the killing of Palestinian children who never harmed you or any other Israeli. That's insane.
Look,
and the fact that you support Trump's ethnic cleansing now doesn't surprise me.
I didn't say ethnic cleansing. I said cleansing of the land.
All right, pause.
Because you need to cleanse the land
I'm
from all the
sure
tunnels.
Slobodan Milosevic
Pause.
said similar stuff.
You've been voted out. Please return to your seat.
What's also weird, though, I also find this weird, is that even when they get up and they know they said some egregiously fucked up shit, they are still holding their hand out, hoping someone would shake it. I don't get that. You know, the person that you are sitting across from can't stand you. As a matter of fact, will probably stomp fire from your ass if they could. But you would still hold your hand out for a handshake after saying some reprehensible shit. It's wild, man. It is fucking insane, man. Like, and here we got, this guy even had a fucking flag up. The self-proclaimed fascist had a flag up when Spy versus Spy was up there at the table and shit. Let's see. Okay. So this is the guy we're basically at the end of this debate. Medhi gets to decide whether, he gets to pick who he wants to have a further debate with. So we're basically at the end of this, but I did want to highlight towards the end of this debate, because they had some one-on-ones with some folks. Some of these people are like, hey man, I didn't realize that I was here with a lot of people who were like, they way far motherfucking right than I am. And like, it kind of speaks to the way in which I believe Jubilee, and I like, let's keep it a buck. Even I am like kind of, using their content in order to create content and things of that nature. But the idea that they have to go to these extremes to bring people, to bring them eyeballs and things of that nature. The devolvement of the grand discussion, that now we've started including people who would normally and should be shunned, who would normally be ignored and everything else. We've given these motherfuckers platforms in front of millions, and now they feel as though their perspectives are being respected, their perspectives are being elevated, their perspectives are being seen as equal to sane fucking conversation, right? So I'm gonna fast forward just a little bit here to where we get to like the end of this shit, because yeah, even Medhi was taken aback by this. He was taken aback, but here we go.
Nice to debate with you, Kate. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. I thought it would be an interesting exercise in trying to understand what genuine far-right conservative folks think. And it was kind of disturbing to see that they think what I thought they think, and they were happy to say it out loud. I am disappointed that I had to sit across from people who believe in white genocide, who believe I'm not a citizen. Multiple people here said I should be deported. One of them was even the child of immigrants, which I found bizarre.
Obviously, we were way outclassed. Like, we're not professional debaters. I don't think anyone in this room was. Maybe
this guy never actually showed up at the fucking table. He never even got up.
One or two people, and clearly Manny, he does this for a living, right? He's a journalist, so he's really good at what he does.
Medhi Hasan was pretty good at, taking cheap shots, trying to derail people from their arguments, trying to pit me against, some of the people that wouldn't like people of my.
Dude, it wasn't hard. Like you're clearly just trying to be, you're a pick me. You're trying to be accepted by a group of folks who wouldn't normally fuck with you. It wasn't hard.
Color to be in the United States, which is irrelevant.
I think one person said as he walked off, "You'll be the first to go," which is ominous and racist.
I think that was disheartening and particularly discouraging, because it just.
So this lady here, she also didn't get up to the table, but she was also she was the person that I highlighted earlier, who was like, she had this look on her face like, what the fuck? Like, I didn't know I was surrounded by so many so far right motherfuckers. I don't agree with all of this shit, right? She never got to the table. This is the only time we get a chance to hear her speak.
Felt like it was fitting into a stereotype that we're trying to fight against, which is like we actually have arguments, we can provide good reason, and that rhetoric just pushes that far away.
I am, I guess, a far-right Republican, but as I learned today, not as far-right as I thought I was. You know, someone gets up and they're just like, yeah, I mean, I guess I just want to have like autocracy forever and Christian nationalism, or just being like, yeah, I'm racist. And to me, that's very foreign of a concept.
While I didn't, you know.
Yeah, like they're finding out, like, yo, this is the side that you find yourself on. These are the people that you've aligned yourself with. Even they are finding out in real time, like, hey, shit, fuck. I mean, I got some conservative views, but I thought I was right wing. Fuck, this nigga is crazy, right? But y'all have allowed this to permeate within the right wing ecosphere and you know, sort of I guess the right wing diaspora, if there's a right wing diaspora to speak of here in America. But again, when I think about people who've allowed themselves to be enthralled by the Trump movement and the Trump and being MAGA and things like that, these are the type of people that they've enabled. These are the type of people that they've empowered. So again, any supposed friend of mine who would allow these sorts of folks to become empowered to enact policy that affects me, that affects my family, fuck you. Fuck you. Real talk, man.
Disagree with most of the people in the circle. It did bother me at times, you know, to see them say mean things. There's not really a reason to do that. But it also upset me when Medhi said, you know, I'm not willing to debate with those people. Free speech doesn't.
So here's the thing too, right? He's upset that Medhi Hasan wouldn't engage with fascist. I don't have to talk to you, bro. I don't have to acknowledge you. I don't have to give you a platform. I don't have to make you feel as though your frame of thought is worth even recognizing. I don't have to do that. And so, like, take for instance, I made a statement on Threads earlier this week when I was talking about, and I talked about this last week, man, when we were talking, you know, we think about like how people, when we talk about how people talk about the African diaspora, right? And I said, one of the things that I think is like the most sad is, in a time where, white conservatives are seeking to subjugate black people in America, there are black people within America who would help further along that cause by separating themselves from other black people, because those black folks were dropped off on one stop on the Atlantic slave trade and not dropped off here, right? And I've had people, of course, many of them bots or trolls, who make sure that like they want to delineate from, African or Caribbean folks or African folks who immigrated here, and they want to be known as black Americans, and they have their roots in America and all this other shit. Like, man, even America doesn't give a fuck about you, but you really are trying to give this, you're really trying to like separate yourselves from other folk who look like you. Meanwhile, folks who don't look like you are trying to fuck over all of us, right? And it is again one of those chronically online discussions that we tend to have, but also it's extremely sad because it's one of those instances where I believe the right wing has tended to win. And so one of the things about this particular episode was it allowed, as I was watching this, I'm like, yo, this is illuminating for, not necessarily illuminating for me, but if I could highlight the ways in which these white conservatives even see some of the black people who align with them, and I can talk about this in a way that maybe some of the people in my community who see this as the way to go, hey, maybe they'll see a different way. Maybe. But yeah, man. this this one was wild. This one was kind of wild. I'm gonna let Medhi kind of finish out his thoughts though.
Doesn't mean you need to give credibility or oxygen or a platform to people who don't agree in human equality.
I hear Medhi's point about not giving them a platform, but the thing is, if you stop giving them a platform, they don't just go away and change their mind. And then you tell the rest of society no one exists who thinks like that, and that's not true.
I do like to debate people, even people I disagree with. I try and avoid bad faith folks. I think some of the folks today were bad faith. You know, I'm anti-conservative, right? I don't support conservative views on taxation. I don't support conservative views on immigration. But the people here today were way beyond conservatives. This is open authoritarianism. And this is what is being normalized and mainstreamed in our country by people in power, by the media, by people who don't know any better.
My family.
Yeah, man. So I'm gonna leave it there. Man. You know, I'm sure I'm sure I'm gonna have to like kind of battle with Jubilee, especially on YouTube, as far as like allowing this video to live. But you know, I thought that was an important discussion to have. I thought this was an important like way to kind of talk about some of the ways in which we find ourselves battling against you know, far right extremism and far right extremism, like, you know, talking points and all of that stuff, man. I thought this was not only just that, just an entertaining way to do it as well. So we got that going on, but I'm going to get on up out of here. I've been on the mic for a little while now. Shit, I just thought about it. It's 2 hours and 30 minutes and shit. So before I get on up out of here, I got to remind you guys how to get in touch with your man Spann so your voice can be heard here on the show, man. Go ahead and hit up that hotline at area code 313-288-0485. That's area code 313-288-0485. Leave those voicemail messages. The little messages will get played here live on the show and responded in kind. You can also hit me up on Blue Sky. My name is mrspann.bsky.social on Blue Sky. So go ahead, follow me to chop it up with your man Spann throughout the week. And I am on Threads and Instagram. I am mostly there. Okay, so if you want to chop it up with your man Spann, it's Mr. Spann. It's Mr. _Spann at Threads and Instagram. Mr. _Spann on Threads and Instagram. Okay. Also, hit me up on Spotify and iTunes with the 5-star reviews. Those 5-star reviews are the ones that get right here live on the show. We really do appreciate everybody who does that. Doesn't cost you a dime, just a couple minutes of your time to let everybody know why you're rocking with us over here at the Mr. Spann Official Podcast and the Spann Report Podcast Network in its entirety. And also, leave us some money. For those of you who want to give us some money, though, we do have a store, and our store will be linked in the show notes. For those of you who want to buy some merch, man, we got hats, we got we got t-shirts, we got hoodies, we got coffee mugs, we got water bottles, we got mouse pads, we got laptop covers, we got a whole bunch of stuff over there, and we really do appreciate you guys for supporting us monetarily and helping us pay the bills over here at the Mr. Spann Official Podcast, man. Real talk. But I'm about to get on up out of here. I will talk to you guys again soon. But until next time, fam, peace.